Ladies and gents, a very warm welcome in. Apologies for the slightly late start, as you can imagine. Just a little bit more setting up today with the incredible wind that we've got going on here at Manchester. The overlay is lying to us, we think. It reckons, the overlay reckons it is gusting 20 knots. I think it's gusting quite a bit more than that, but we will keep an eye on it. Upstairs, as always, we got Mr. Andy. He's got his lead boots on. He's strapped to the ground.
I know it's crazy up here today. What is going on? And I'm curious what the Messar gets up to today.
Yes,
keep an eye on it.
And chat, as a bit of a special today, who would be the best person to get on a stream like this today? Yaboosh, Mr. Captain Mark is with us on the stream. How you doing, mate?
Hello. Yeah, my mum says I'm special. Yeah.
She loves you, mate. That's all that matters. But we do have aircraft on approach. Winds are coming in across the terminal as well, folks. So it is it's going to be a spicy show today. So I hope you enjoy this. We've got everybody with us. The whole crew's on. And it's going to be an awesome, awesome show. First to arrive, A330, arriving in from Atlanta. And we'll have a quick chat with Captain Mark after this landing. But in terms of wind direction, folks, for Manchester, this is probably the one that is going to give us the most chaos here at the airport in terms of go arounds, in terms of really seeing the pilots working the aircraft down. But as you can see with this 330, not much stress at all for that one. Mark, what's the crack with this wind direction then, mate?
It's the worst way. It's the worst way, mate. It's coming right over the terminal. Anything from about 270 round to probably north, maybe. It comes right over the terminal, right over the hangars. It chops it up. Something horrible. It's absolutely rancid. I remember coming in years ago. We had a week of all these named storms. It was horrible. And then it all sort of started to calm down. I came in from Belfast. It was something like 29018, and it was worse than the strong winds, that were sort of from the other direction. But yeah, it's just horrible when it comes over there. And it looks like the 330's coping with it quite well. So, yeah, I think the last gust I saw was up to 29. It has been up to 36, I think.
Yeah.
And for the Airbus, 38 is the limit straight across the runway. So I'd have to do some calculations and find out exactly what the component is. But yeah, you're not. If it goes up toward its forecast, you're not going to be far off the maximum crosswind limit.
Yeah, because we always find that when the wind's sort of favouring the north, like it is today, it's usually when we make a trip down to the airport and just come and see what's going on. Let's get a few names in the chat. We've got Erin Goes, TGV Outdoors, Oscar Loves Vatsim, welcome in. Loops is here, Hannah, Yorkshire Rose, Paul, Rachie, Tina, Jen, Jonesy, Pedro, Shumasim. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that one, but welcome in. You have to give me a tutorial. Matt A, user PW3, Bella, Nigel, Tell, Craig, Paul, Jules, Rachie, Eden. Loads of people tuning in. Very warm welcome in. It's going to be a good show, guys. As you can see, myself, Martin, Andy upstairs, but he's down there. I think we need to swap them around.
We do,
so
yes.
That makes a bit more sense. And we got Mark with us joining for a bit today. You are on call, though, today, Mark, aren't you? So at some point, you may have to, you may get called in for this.
Yeah, I may get called out. And I may have to come down to Manchester, but hopefully by the time I get there, it'll all died down.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see.
Next to land, Iceland Air. We did have a Ryanair Max come in, and that seemed to handle it quite well. So probably expecting the same for this Iceland Air. Ian Finley, good morning. Welcome in, Pedro. Good to see you. I bet you're happy with the result from the weekend, mate. And in terms of approaches and Mark in gusts like this, are we coming in a bit quicker? Are we carrying a bit more speed on the arrival?
Yeah, I mean, I always put on extra anyway. Especially, the Neos are a bit more twitchy towards wind shear. The Airbus has a thing called ground speed mini, so it'll give you a minimum ground speed. So if you've got a really strong headwind, it will put the speed right up. So you've got extra energy. If the gust suddenly drops, you don't suddenly sink and lose loads of energy. So it keeps you with a high speed on. When it's across, you don't really want to add that much.
Yeah.
Because there's not much of a headwind component. But yeah, he did a good job of that. You would have lots of fuel on a day like today. You'd be a mug to try and come in with minimum fuel, and you'd need a good alternate as well.
Yeah.
You need something. You need yourself a good alternate. So if you can't get into Manchester, you need somewhere where the weather's better or more down the runway, whatever. I mean, Birmingham would be a better alternate today because the wind's more down the runway. It's got runway 33 there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got all this to consider in the planning stage, and when you get the named storms, what I normally do is just land as close to max landing weight as I can. Just fill the plane up with as much fuel to put me at max landing weight when I land. So then I've got so much fuel, I've got plenty of options. I mean, there's a mate of mine, he came in one of the storms, and his alternate was Lyon.
Wow.
In France. Everywhere else was absolute garbage. And he ended up in Lyon. He had a couple of goes at Manchester, couldn't get in, and next thing they're flying an hour and 3/4 down to Lyon.
I know. I remember seeing that. There was a news article about a Ryanair flight. I think it was from Manchester to Dublin, and it ended up in France as well due to the storms. It's like everyone's like, "How on earth could that happen?" But everyone's kind of.
Yeah, I remember in storm. Yeah, when it stormed Dara, I went down to Paris and back, and my alternate was Amsterdam.
Wow.
And I phoned them up in the morning. I said, look, it's forecast out limits all day. If I get airborne, it's not, it doesn't look like I'm getting back in again if I get airborne.
Yeah.
And do you really want to go to Paris, pick these people up, and then dump them in Amsterdam? Oh well, we're hoping for the best. That's not really the answer I'm looking for. Thank God we got in, but yeah, I mean, the brief was, we'll go 2 goes, which is all we're allowed. And unless there's a significant improvement, we can't make a 3rd go. And if it doesn't improve, we're off to Amsterdam. And thank God we got in first time. But yeah, it's not nice, especially like we said, coming over that terminal.
Air France working it down from Paris.
Wow.
So on a day like today, Mark, if you could choose an airframe, what would you be taking out the garage today, mate?
7.5 without a doubt.
But no cheating, no cheating. You know what I mean? What do you reckon Airbus wise then?
319 or a Neo.
Okay.
A 320 Neo.
Yeah.
The CEOs and the ones with the sharklets I find a little bit slow to respond, maybe.
Yeah.
A little bit wallowy, especially the sharklet ones, the CEOs with the sharklets.
And in a crosswind, are the what we're talking about in terms of sharklets, if you're not sure what they are, they're not what are on the end of this Air France, but it'll kind of give you an idea. There's sticky up bits on the end of the wing there. On the Airbus with the sharklets, they're really big and really tall. If we see one today, we'll point it out for you. But do they, in a crosswind, do they catch quite a bit of the breeze, or are they? Is that anything that you notice in terms of between sharklets and wing fences?
You don't really notice it, to be honest. I mean, they must do. They're great big. I can't remember how tall they are. It's 5 or 6 foot or something ridiculous.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, I think on certain aircraft they do reduce your crosswind limit by a bit. I can't remember which ones. I'm not sure whether the 75s had their winglets put on, whether they reduced it or not. But I remember talking to a guy years ago, and he said, yeah, they knock a few knots off your limit.
Right.
But yeah, you don't really notice it because the way the Airbus, the controls work. But I mean, if I was flying a 7.5 in this, I'd take the autopilot out early. Autopilot or thrust comes out together, so I'm manually thrust. You would be adding speed. And you manually fly it down because you want to get into the sync of when you move the control column forward or backwards. You've got to trim and adjust power. If you adjust power, if you put power on, it pitches up. If you take power off, it pitches down. So your power, pitch, trim, power, pitch, trim. You want to get the feel of it, and for the landing. With the Airbus, there isn't any feel. You've just got this stick. So ideally, with that, if it's a really bad wind, you can use your autopilot down to 160 feet on a visual landing. I just do that.
Yeah.
Leave it right into the last minute. Take it off, and then it's like, rah! Sometimes you'll find yourself hitting the stops. You've got. I remember coming in again. This was the one I was on about earlier. 290-18, and it was so rough. and we hit a gust, and we ended up pointing at sort of the terminal to the right, and I had full left stick, and it was still going right.
Wow!
And it was one of the COs with Shartless, and it just wasn't turning left. And I'm like, I've got my hand on the thrust levers here, we're going round now, and if we go around, we're going over the top of the terminal. It was just completely the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Slowly, it sort of wallowed round, and we got back on the centre line. But yeah, it's not an instant response. The Neos are a bit better, and the 319s are a bit better, but they're never going to be, handling like a 757.
Yeah.
A 73, I would imagine, would be all over the place. You only got to watch the YouTube videos of the controlling, and even when I flew it, you were all over the place with it. It was, a calm day, there's massive movements, whereas the 75 had a smaller control column. The controls are nicely balanced, and it was a much nicer aircraft to fly.
Talking of nice aircraft, if you're on Fleet Log, get this added to your collection. Junyao, in the beautiful livery, of course, the colourful petals scheme. And a couple of thank yous as well. A huge thanks. Let me turn the bing bongs up. I had them turned down from the previous show. There we go. Beastie gifting a membership to the community. Thank you very much, Beastie, for supporting the stream today. And Laurie with the 55 months executive club membership. Happy Wednesday to you, Laurie. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you
very much for the support. And Dan Buster, welcome back for 33 months. Wishing his better half a happy birthday. Nice one, Dan. Thank you very much, mate. And I hope your better half has a great birthday as well. And David, right at the beginning of the stream, gifting a membership as well. Thank you very, very much for that, David. Along with returning for 23 months of membership. Thank you very much, dude. Lou DeHaan, welcome back for 40 months as well, saying time flies when you're having none. Thank you, mate. Smithy, good morning. Cheers for the bonus show, mate, the other day.
Yeah, good show, that.
And out goes the Junyao. Logan Air, ATR next to land. We are going to be focusing on arrivals today, chat. And Chris Jones, good morning. Good to see you.
Off she goes to Shanghai, over in China. Very pretty. Junyao, 787. And how does it affect departures, Mark, if you've got a strong crosswind component? Is there anything you have to do particularly differently, especially in the preparation and the planning calculations?
Yeah, I mean, you'd need to have a good brief about it. If it was over 20 knots across in our airline, the first officers can't do the takeoff. Or if they're senior first officers, they can do up to 25. But if it's like 30 odd like this, the captain have to do the takeoff as well. With the Boeings, when you take off with a strong crosswind, you would always turn the control column into wind. You want the ailerons into wind. You don't want the wing that's nearest the strong wind to be lifted first and cause you control problems. You'd have aileron into wind. Sometimes you could even probably have full aileron into wind as you're trundling down the runway. Stick forward a bit, half forward, full aileron, then you'd reduce that as you start to take off. With the Airbus, they don't want you to do that because you'll start bringing spoilers up and increase drag and all of that. So they just say, use your rudder and keep it straight on the centre line. But yeah, there is a slight difference as well, is that the 319s and the 320 CEOs have a takeoff crosswind, including the gust, of 38 knots, whereas the Neos, the 320 and the 321 Neos, can only do 35. And you've got a crosswind technique as well to take off with. You've got because what's happening is that obviously the wind today, you're on 2-3 left, whatever, the wind's coming from the right. The left engine, the number one engine, isn't getting as much air into it as quickly. It's got the fuselage blanking, the air being blown into the engine, the crosswind sort of being blanked by the fuselage. So you're increasing the risk slightly of an engine stall and some problems like that. So what you'd do, you'd set your power to 50. You then go, then release the brakes. You'd then go to 70 and hold it. And then you'd go full power. You'd have to stick fully forward as well. And this is the same technique if you've got a strong tailwind or a crosswind. But the idea is that you actually get some air flowing through the engine before you put full power on, so that the engine's a bit happier and it reduces the risk of a stall or anything like that. But that there's a time frame. You've got to have full power. Flex power on or toga, which you're using, by 40 seconds, which isn't normally a problem. But you'd go 50, 70 and hold it, and then you'd go. But yeah, there's a few little considerations for the takeoff as well. But it's more the landing that's the issue here. And obviously, if you've got a really strong wind like this, you'd want to be considering a takeoff alternate. So say you take off and one of your engines does go bang. You don't really want to be landing in this crosswind on one engine, especially if it's the engine on the wrong side. So you'd really want to have a long, hard think about where am I going to go if this engine goes pot. Well, or you've got Birmingham, you've got Leeds if you were really desperate. There are, a couple of airports around that are into wind. I think Prestwick's got a runway in that direction. Before you'd gone anywhere, you would have had a good look at the weather and work out where you can actually go.
It's crazy how much you've got to take into consideration when you're flying on days like today. Absolutely.
Yeah, you need to do one in the sim. That'd be good.
We shall, absolutely. 80s aviation videos, thanks for the 38 months, mate. Really appreciate that. We're doing absolutely awesome. Hope you're doing well. I'm in a good mood today, chat. I'm not sure if many of you guys know, but my mum lives down in London, and she's coming up to visit for a few days today. So I've given her a call this morning and just said, look, just take it easy. It's blowing a right hoo-ha up here today. But yeah, she's coming to stay for a few days. Unfortunately, not quite the weather I'd hoped for.
Like the opposite.
We got some things planned. I think, Mark, we might be taking her down with Andy into the sim tomorrow night. See if my mum can land it.
That'd be good.
We won't be making any content on it or anything like that. Chat, just going for a bit of fun. I think Jen might come down as well.
Yeah.
Just going to go and have a bit of a laugh, but. My mum was like, oh, yeah, don't be putting me on video, though. But that's going to be quite good fun. And, yeah, got a few bits and bobs planned. So, yeah, looking forward to the rest of the week. But we got so much going on in the office as well. We're just super, super busy at the minute.
Yep.
Which is a great place to be. I think we're just really enjoying the channel at the moment. It's, it's in a good spot, I think. A lot of different opportunities are coming up, and we've got some really cool videos coming, guys. One of them I'm particularly looking forward to. All I'll say for now, chat, is it might give this guy a bit of a rest for a day.
Yes, yeah. When the wind's like this, I'll stay at home. Thanks.
Yeah. Pedro, good to see you. The drive back from Wembley was ace. Hardly anyone on the motorway. Really? That's awesome, mate. I hope you had a great time. Mark, when you get a second, if you can just turn your video on and off again. It's just lagging a bit behind your audio.
No worries.
But yeah, it's great to have you all with us. Doug, good to see you on the Twitch channel. Joanne, good to see you. Adam, good to see you. It's hailstoning now, is it really? Well, I did get a ping about potential wintry weather.
Yep.
Expected. I'm kind of hoping not. I mean, let's not completely spoil the week, you know what I mean? But we'll see. Yeah, Disco, thank you very much, mate. It's I was pleasantly surprised this morning when there was a bit of sun on the drive down. So hopefully it kind of just stays like this mixed bag at the minute and be quite cool. But I must admit, I knew it was going to be windy today, but I didn't expect it to be this windy.
Yeah, same. Usually it's the other way around, isn't it? If it's forecast wind, you get here and it's usually a bit of a letdown.
You're right, yeah.
Stand by, I need to wrap some things up as well. The rain's coming a little bit quicker than I expected.
Oh, is it raining already?
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one today.
Hey, Pingu, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Connor, not at the moment. We've only been live about 20 minutes or so. Wind is pretty bad here in Liverpool at the minute.
Yeah. Last night was crazy as well.
Oh, mate, last night it was just... everything was just going mental.
Yeah.
We had all sorts just being blown over in the garden.
Singapore Airbus A350 heading back to Singapore. Yeah, this is crazy windy, chat. This is definitely on par with some of the named storms, as Mark was talking about. But sometimes we get big storms here at Manchester, and sometimes, you know, the winds are straight down the runway. And as a result, you know, I know it's different for pilots, but as plane spotters, it doesn't really look much different. Like, it just looks like a regular day.
Yeah.
Obviously got the crazy winds and noise and things, but it'd be a bit anticlimactic in that regard.
We've got the Brussels Airlines coming in next, chat. And Welshie Kev with a 20 months of Prime membership to the channel. Thank you very much, dude, for that. Really appreciate the support.
Thanks, Welshie.
Lashing it down in sail. Yeah, it's
going to hit us soon.
It's going to hit us soon, I think.
Yeah.
So, as much as you can tell us, Mark, where are you up to at the minute then? Because I know you've done your base move, but the big are move. You at the base yet?
No, I did my base move. Put a nice post on Facebook, a load of selfies and loads of comments on that. And then I started my last week in Newcastle last week, so I got in a cab and got sent to Birmingham for the week. Did a really good week at Birmingham, flew with some really nice people there, came back, and now today I'm on call for this week.
Yeah.
The problem is that they do reserve the right that they can turn around and say, they can phone me up later and say, actually, we're sending you to Birmingham for the week again, which I'll be like, okay.
God. That's not ideal, is it?
If they sent me to Manchester, I could, stay in the flat and come see you lot. So I don't know. I've got my first flight next month. I think first one's a Dalaman, which is fine. I quite, if it's runway 19, it's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all right. It's we're just waiting to see and trying to settle back into being home all the time after being away for all these years. It's a bit odd.
Yeah. No, I bet it's good though.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, it's taken a bit getting used to because obviously the wife and the kids have got their routine for the school in the morning, and if I'm off, then I'll do the school run or whatever. But now I'm about, and obviously I'm on call. I've actually got a lie-in today.
Wow,
so I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Good for you, mate. Hey, I'm glad. We got to run a big thank you though, because CBS has just dropped 10 gifted memberships in the stream.
Oh,
what a legend! Thank you, mate. FOD everywhere, confetti blowing everywhere.
Hello.
We're I think someone's playing with us today though. Look at this. As soon as this aircraft's coming in, we got a Jet 2 on the mate, a bit slower there, Jet 2, no rush. And there's the first go around of the day. Brussels Airlines A320 on the way around. Get that brand new Toga emote in the chat, folks.
Mate, this is mental.
Looks a bit blowy there.
We heard you talking about the Jet 2 being in the way.
Yeah.
Around for another go. Quite early on the go around as well. I can imagine that Brussels was just about to experience, or was experiencing some of that mechanical turbulence there at that altitude.
Yeah, it's as we've said on the streams many times before, chat, we don't make a huge deal about go-arounds and stuff on the channel. It is a completely normal thing, but I much prefer to see them working the aircraft down onto the runway. But I know you guys do like to see your go-arounds. So there is the first one of the day.
Wow.
If they want to know how to do a go-around, the video's up, isn't it? You can go and watch it. We did it
wow, Mark just getting a little advert in. Go on, Mark.
Right. Get it plugged. Get it logged and get it plugged.
Get it plugged.
Get it logged.
For the day.
Yes, we do have a go-around video on the YouTube channel. Captain Mark's been doing loads of videos with us recently, teaching you guys everything you need to know about the sim.
I'm looking forward to this overhead panel when it finally turns up, and
I know.
We'll be able to do a proper cockpit set up and everything. It'll be good.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I put a video up of it yesterday. I didn't notice till yesterday the price of it. Why is it so cheap?
Mate, that's wind for you. Well, wind control, sorry, no.
That's incredible. Like, it's the same price as the Rosefire overhead, which is like a super compact one.
Yeah, mental.
And we know wind control makes some really good quality stuff. Look at this, you can see the rain flying through the airfield here. I don't know how much that's picking up on the stream.
Mate, you can see that completely as Andy gifts a membership to the channel as well. Thank you very much. And TBS, thanks again for your gifted. look at the state of this, chat.
The rain is rushing through now.
There is a TAP Air Portugal, Andy, next to land. I doubt you'll be able to see it.
But where is that?
A320neo, and I'd say it's about a mile away.
I'll have to move this camera for a bit. I don't think I've got a way to reliably cover this up, because the wind's just going straight into the lens.
There we go. Landing lights just becoming visible.
Oh, it's
There's a speed run this, though. Yep.
We've got the how to land the Airbus video. We've got to sit down and do that at some point, haven't we, in 2 parts?
Maybe we need to do a crosswind landing video, I think. By the sounds of it.
At
well,
Manchester.
what I was saying is that, the first bit, sort of do it in 2 parts, do the first one, that this is how you land the Airbus. I've had a chat with trainers and, sat down, had a read of the trainer's notes, my friend's notes, he sent me all his notes. And then the second video, right, let's have a look at crosswinds and, other sort of landings rather than just the basic straightforward landing, because, the crosswind one's slightly different. And there's a fair bit more going on. So once, have the first one out, say, right, this is once you've hacked this, and you've got this, we'll talk about the crosswind one.
Gosh, that was nuts.
That was a crazy one, that. Hey, Jake, good to see you, mate. Yo, yo, yo.
Welcome in. This airport, you're getting blown left to right.
It really was, wasn't it?
Incredible job by the pilots. Wow, that was wild.
Stick around with the channel. If you're enjoying the stream as well, folks, share the feed. Let's get as many people in today as we can.
The visibility's just dropped off a cliff at it.
We could see right up the approach path before. You can't see a thing.
Yeah. It was like literally 100, 200 feet. You could finally see the plane there.
Pegasus next to landing with us as well. A321neo.
Oh gosh, the A321. You've flown that before, Mark, haven't you? The yes. 21neo, is that one you want to be in on a storm like this, or a windy day like this, or?
No, not really. No, I did the last landing I did in the 21neo was into Malta.
Yeah.
And it was forecast 30 across. The main run was. I don't really like the 21neo very much. They've changed the flare logic on it. It flies differently. Right. You've got to fly at 30 because there's more momentum, like you would on a 7.5. You flare at 30, but you find you've got to really sort of pull, but you've got to be really wary of hitting the tail or getting up to, I always brief in points to say, look, if we get anywhere near 7.5 degrees, just start shouting at me.
Yeah.
And we came in, and there was the wind wasn't there. It hadn't turned up. Oh, lovely! Turned on the final. Yeah, straight across at 20, gusting 33, I think it was. I was like, oh.
Yes.
And pushed the rudder, applied the rudder, put the wing down, and thank God it was absolutely just breezed on. I was like, oh, okay, I'll take that.
I'll have that, won't we?
I'll have that, and I thought, oh yeah, it was all right, wasn't it?
Just style it out.
Come off the runway.
Oh yeah, I do them all the time.
I've never had to fly it since, so I'm quite. That's it now. Unless I get sent somewhere where they've got them, I'm not even sure. Actually, I'm still current on it. So I know on me last week at Manchester, I was supposed to fly it, and it had 321 recency on it, and then there was a standby with 321 recency, and they changed me on day one. So I was taken off the flight, which was a shame because a load of cabin crew had swapped onto it because it was me last week. And they were all gutted because I wasn't on it. And then I never flew it again, so I'm probably not even current on it anymore. So. Oh well.
Never mind.
Oh well. Anyway.
Tel, thanks for the 5 gifted, mate. Really appreciate it, Tel. Thanks for supporting the stream, dude. And Guinea Pig with a £5 donation. Thank you very much, saying it's snowing here in Horwich and Bolton.
Whoa.
Keep it there for us if you can. We're all right for now.
Snowing. Gosh.
Lee with the generous £10 donation as well. Thank you, folks, for all the support today. Saying lurking again. Enjoy the stream. Absolutely no worries, mate.
There we go. Pegasus Airbus A321 coming in next. It's coming from Istanbul, and it's a Neo as well. And that is a crazy amount of crabbing going on there.
Should be interesting.
And we do have the Cathay Pacific A350 waiting to cross as well. Slightly getting in the way of the touchdown, but
I seem to remember the last time we had a storm like this.
Yeah.
It was like this for the whole stream.
I remember once, right, they were on single runway ops, and I came down here to get a storm, and every time a plane was taxiing past, like vacating their own way and taxiing past.
Yeah.
Every time an arrival came in, and they all lined up perfectly. I was like, no.
This is what that was it. We'll keep an eye on it.
Happens.
Audrey gifting a membership to the community. Thank you very much, Audrey. Very, very much appreciated. 18 brand new VIPs on today's stream already.
And if you're liking your A321 Neos, there is another one on the way in. And that's a KLM Neo coming in from Amsterdam. And that's going to be a couple of minutes, about 5 minutes till touchdown on that.
There's a fair bit of drift on that as it was coming down, and you can see it pointed into the wind.
Yeah.
And further, as you're higher up, the winds are stronger, so you'd have even more drift on. As you come down, the wind gradually dies off. But then, obviously, you're going to get, as you get nearer the ground, you'll start getting the mechanical turbulence off the terminal. But the trick is with the crosswind landing is as you come into the flare, you want to start the flare, slight pull up on the nose, and then you apply left rudder smoothly to align the aircraft with the runway centre line. And then what you want to do, on the Boeings, you'd put full control column into wind. On the Airbus, I always do it. Airbus, say, you don't really need a little bit, but not a lot. Yep. And I'll always put wing into wind, because otherwise you're just going to get blown off the centre line, so you want it to keep tracking. And normally I'll put it down on the wheel that's into wind, and then gently lower the other wheel and lower the nose, keeping the stick into wind, because you don't want that wing being lifted. If that 320 that came in before, the tap one, as you notice, as he landed, as he sort of plopped down, the right wing got lifted by the wind. So that's one of the things that can happen. You've got the wind going over that wing. It's more lift. So as you lower the aircraft down, you've got to keep a bit of aileron into wind to stop that wing from being lifted. So you'll see that a lot today. Is that once it lands, you'll see the right wing go up again. Once if they put too much aileron out rather than keep it in and keep it into wind, keep it straight on the centre line, you'll find that you might even have almost full rudder on. If it's a full crosswind, you probably will have full left rudder pushed in to keep that aircraft straight. And it can be quite interesting. But we'll look at it in the sim one day, won't we?
Even on the takeoff then, little wobble, eh?
This rain's turning into hail now, it seems like.
Hey, we got a bit of blue sky off to the east, though. Hey, we'll take that.
Depends which way you look.
Harry, welcome back for 37 months of membership. 3 years landing on runway 03. Thank you, mate. Stay warm as well. Thank you very much, Harry.
This KLM seems to be in a bit of a hole now, actually. Up on the northeast direction.
Oh, yeah, so it is.
Didn't think there was a hold there, but looks more like it's being vectored by ATC, maybe. Circling before landing. Could it be that maybe this crosswind component's getting a bit much for some of these Airbus planes? Like I said, there is a limit.
Yeah, I think that's off the end of the runway, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think there's a hold there as far as I know.
No, it's also not really following a hold, is it? It's more ATC maybe just pointing the finger of which way to go.
I think we spoke before, Mark, about the Airbuses, with them having a bit newer or a bit more sensitive technology on for wind shear and stuff like that. That's why you'd likely see the Airbuses going around maybe a little bit earlier than some of the Boeing aircraft, especially like the NGs and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Neos are a little bit more twitchy. I know our airline did a bit of research, because we did have quite a few wind shear go-arounds on the Neo. The other ones tend to be all right. And I think part of it possibly because the Neo does come in slightly higher in the pitch, not a lot, but your angle attack vanes on the nose, they're quite sensitive. And you get two types of wind shear. You get reactive and predictive. Predictive, the weather radar looks ahead. It looks for any changes. It uses Doppler, and if it sees rain droplets ahead where it thinks there's going to be wind shear, it'll give you a wind shear ahead, and it'll draw a big amber line and red in the middle, and you just steer around it. But reactive wind shear works off the flight augmentation view. It's the facts. And if it senses you're in wind shear, it will shout wind shear, wind shear. So, and again, on a day like today, I would brief in part of the brief, I'd brief the go-around actions for wind shear go-around. And then on final approach, I'd do a quick, say on final approach, we're going to do a quick hot brief. So we just run through those actions again so we're absolutely fresh in our mind, because your brief could be 20 minutes, half hour before. Quick run through, let's have a talk about it. Right, if it shouts wind shear, I'm going to go wind shear tow. If the autopilot's in, I'll let it do its funky thing unless it's doing something odd and I'll take it out. But initially, if I'm flying it, I'll pitch the aircraft up around about 17.5 degrees. We'll follow the SRS, what the flight director commands us. I'll listen for your calls, and we won't change the configuration. You leave the gear and the flap, everything hanging out, you don't touch anything. And then, your pilot monitoring will be going, yeah, the speed's dropping, the speed's increasing, this is happening, that's happening, you're climbing. And he'll feed you a load of information about what's happening. And then when it all settles down, he'll say clear of wind shear. And then you go, right, go around flaps. Right, speed, flap, whatever, flap 2, whatever. Yep. Read your FMAs, autopilot in as soon as possible, gear up, and then you'd fly the normal missed approach. But the idea of the wind shear is you get away from the ground as quick as possible. You get out the wind shear as quick as possible.
And in terms of wind shear and how long it can go on for, if you're in the toga gate on the Airbus and you're in the wind shear for a little while, how does it manage not overspeeding the flaps?
Well, because with the wind shear, the speed will be going up and down, and you'll pitch it up. Speed's not increasing. Once the speed starts increasing, you're out the wind shear.
Right.
The wind shear it's changing for all directions. You've lost lift, you've lost everything. I mean, I know a guy, very, very good man, our union rep, he went into Madeira from Chal, and they came around the corner, they hit wind shear, and the aircraft was sinking like a brick. I remember flying with the FO, and he was telling me about it, and they had toga and they had nose up, wow, full power, and they were still going down.
Wow.
And he said you could see that the runway going up, you could see the rock face in front of you, and the FO just sat there and thought, we've had it, this is it. And then eventually they sort of come out the shear, the engines were giving full chat, and it started to bite, and they climbed up and went around, and they came round and did a flat 3 and another go and got in. He said the second time was pretty rough as well. It depends on how the wind shear is. It's very rare that you'd never see that at Manchester. I would have thought. I've never heard of anything like that there. Funchal, okay, on a really bad day it can be interesting. That's why it's one of the considered one of the 10 most difficult airports in the world. Wind shear here. I had it in. We went into Tenerife. When was it? I've been in a few times the last couple of weeks. And there was wind shear. There's always wind shear reported. You get this wind change from about 1,600 feet down to about 400 feet. Sometimes you'll end up with a strong tailwind, so you're having to configure. And then suddenly it'll swing around to a headwind, and you get this shear. And you brief it. You say, look, you've got this stability criteria. You've got to be stable at 1,000 feet. You've got to be stable at 500 feet. But you can say, look, if it's transient, we get a gust of wind, suddenly the wind shoots up. As long as the speed's tracking in the right direction, everything's, settling down, it's just transient, it's going to go away. If you're sitting 20 knots fast and it's not changing, then, it's unstable, you've got to go around. A lot of the time you'll get other pilots will call up and say, oh, yeah, we've had wind shear on approach. Yeah, all right. You've had a change of speed. It's Tenerife, get used to it. Yeah. We went in the other day, and they said there was a gain of 20 knots at a certain height. I can't remember what it was. I thought, that'd be interesting. So we configured a bit early. Got flaps 2 out. We're just lowering the gear. I can't remember. But I remember just having a quick look at something, and then I looked up, and the speed had gone up by 20 knots. I was like, oh, there's that wind shear. Right, chuck the gear down, and it brings it all back. But it was just a transient change. And the wind shear, it never shouted wind shear. It just went up by 20 knots and came back down again. I always, like I said, I always carry a bit of extra speed.
Do you reckon wind shear is probably one of the most dangerous things you need to sort of deal with in flying, or?
Not really. You need to be aware of it. It's different types. I mean, if this is a windy day you've got today. It's a windy, gusty, horrible day. And when the aircraft lands, it'll upload the entire flight to head office. And you can even phone up the flight data guys and say, can you have a little look and tell me what happened here? And I've done that many times. Oh, yeah, you had a gust, and then it sort of floated because you had the gust, and then the wind died off. And they'll have a look and tell you what's gone on. The only really wind shear where you need to be a little bit careful if you're near and around thunderstorms. This is where the wind shear came from. It was a TriStar, Delta TriStar in America years ago. And wind shear wasn't really that well understood back then, and it came in, and they were underneath this thunderstorm that basically just dumped everything out the bottom of it, and it just pushed them in the ground, and they landed short of the runway. It was just, I think it might have been Dallas actually, like Laurie said, I can't remember, but it's quite a well-known one. And after that, then they went and worked on wind shear radar, wind shear, technology to tell you what's happening. With a thunderstorm, you can have like updrafts of 5,000 feet a minute, downdrafts 7,000 feet a minute, and you get a thing called a gust front. So it all dumps out the bottom, and then it can't go any further, so it comes out the side. And if you're near a thunderstorm, you really want to avoid those things, especially if it's a real violent one. And it's a lot better understood now. So you should never be in that sort of situation. But the wind shear technology is really good. And once it shouts wind shear at you, you're just going around. And then the thought process is now, right, we've gone around, we've had wind shear. What do we want to do? Do we want to go somewhere and hold and have a think about it and wait for it to calm down? Or do you want to just go, actually, stuff this, it's rancid, let's go somewhere where the weather's better? So whereas everyone watching can see, Laurie's saying it was a Delta jet here at Dallas, everyone's watching them do the go-arounds and that. But when you're actually flying it, now the thought process is now, all right, do I really want to have another go? Because our lot are only allowed 2 goes. Do I want to go and sit and wait for it to improve? Will it improve? This is forecast all day. It might not improve. Do we want to wait until we can get a quiet spell where the weather's a bit better and have another go, or just wait for it to die down a bit? And it's a difficult day out, and that's why you want lots of fuel, because then you can go and sit and hold for a bit and think, actually, it's not getting any better. Let's just go somewhere better.
On a day like today, Mark, is there much consideration from an airline's point of view to not displace passengers, in the sense that, is there a point where they say, you know what, the last 5 or 6 planes haven't really got into Manchester, we're just not even going to send you because the chance of a diversion is just quite high at the minute? Is that a thing, or is it always just go and give it a go and see if you can get in?
Yeah, it's normally go and have a go, unless it's so ridiculous that it's just not going to work. I remember years ago, before COVID, I got called out to do an Amsterdam in the evening, and I was paired up, bless him, with, at the time, the best first officer at the base. He's probably the best captain at Edinburgh now. He's a fantastic lad called Clint. He used to fly the island hoppers out in the Caribbean and go around, that one where the twin goes off the end of the runway. He's a very experienced lad, very, very good lad. I turned up, all the flight plans were done, everything was highlighted, everything I needed to know. He was just there and he briefed me. I was like, fantastic. And nothing had got in to Amsterdam all day. It was so strong that even if you could land it, you couldn't open the doors. It was that strong. You've got a wing limit on the doors. You couldn't open the doors. So nothing had got in. I got called in. They said, oh, well, we want you, it's starting to die off. We want you to go and have a look. And I'm like, you're having a laugh, aren't you? You're having a woolly one. All right, okay, we'll go and have a look. So we loaded up, absolutely loaded. I think we had enough fuel to come back to Manchester. It was like 2 goes at Amsterdam, 3 goes at Amsterdam, 2 goes at Amsterdam, 2 goes at Rotterdam, and fuel back to Manchester so we could have another go. And it did start to calm down. It was, from the 80 knots, it was down to about 30 now. And it was 270, 20 gusting, 30 something. I thought, oh, well, at least it's straight down the runway now. It's come round. Lovely, brilliant. And we're getting a bit closer to Amsterdam. Yeah, we called up Amsterdam and all this. Yep, happy, expecting runway 27. And they turned around and went, oh, yeah, it's 36 centre or 36 left or whatever. It's straight across. And I'm like, gosh. You are?
Wow.
You've got... And it turns out that runway 27, you're very limited how many times you can use it. It's got a certain amount of landings on it because they listen
Sorry
to
interrupt you here, Mark. This is the Brussels Andy that went around before, just coming in for another go now.
Should be interesting. So yeah, you can only use runway 27 a certain amount of times. Once it's been used, you can't use it anymore. Ridiculous. Anyway, we thank God again we got a lovely landing out of it on a full crosswind. But the airlines, they want you to go fly, and they want to get the passengers where the passengers want to be, and that's what we have to go and do on days like this. Days like this is where we really earn our money.
Yeah. Here we go then. The Brussels Airlines next to land. It's been on quite a long circuit out, heading out to the south before coming back in again. But as you can see, that's why you go around. Much more straightforward approach this time round. Let's get some 10 out of 10s in the chat for the Brussels Airlines crew. And there was a question earlier on, Mark, from Gen26 saying, I think it was along the lines of sort of takeoffs or landings. Are they equally as complex in winds like this?
No, the takeoff's a lot easier. The takeoff, you've got to keep it straight on the runway using the rudder pedals, and you can have a lot of rudder pedaling, and you can be dancing on them a little bit, trying to keep it straight where the wind's gusty. So it's blowing hooly and gusting, then you're dancing. But when it's the landing is they're a lot more tricky, a lot more difficult. You're coming in sideways. You're having to adjust because as the wind drops off, the drift drops off. You don't need quite so much crab into wind, and then in the flare, there's an awful lot happening. You've got to pull the nose up, like I said, push the rudder, apply the rudder, straighten it with the centre line you're looking at. You've got to try and keep it straight, then put the wing down and then sort of hold it, wait and see what's happening, use your peripheral vision to try and work out, is the aircraft sinking, are we floating, and then get it down, keep the aileron into wind, get the reverses in. The landings are the difficult one. Once you're up there, that's the easy bit. It doesn't take long to get airborne. And if it was wind shear forecast or wind shear reported, then you'd use toga anyway for the takeoff, so the takeoff run would be even shorter. You just go full power.
Yeah, you just get out of there. Ian says, not sure if it was discussed already. It hasn't actually been, Ian, so thanks for bringing it up, mate. It says Qatar Dreamliner last night had 2 goes at Manchester and then held for 3 hours.
Whoa. Before
coming in, and on ATC they said that their SOPs only allowed a third attempt if there was only light turbulence.
Ours are 2 goes. You're allowed 2 goes, and then you're not allowed a third approach unless there is a significant improvement in the weather.
Yeah.
Whether it be rain, fog, wind, whatever. And this comes back into historical crashes, that people who keep trying end up more likely to having an incident,
because there's that
it's like
kind of feeling, isn't there, where it's like, I need to do it this time because we've already gone around twice and this, that, the other. Like, that's what they're trying to avoid, I guess.
Yeah, and you get people that they'll push minimas, they'll push margins, and they'll you get this press on itis. I really want to be on the road. I really want to get this one down. I really want to get this one down, and then they'll do something daft, especially if they're tired.
Yeah.
You're up there holding for a significant period of time, then you're going to be tired, and your judgment is degraded. If it depends on the tiredness. We do a lot of studies into fatigue, and if you're properly fatigued, it's like trying to fly a plane with like 8-10 pints inside you. So it's really really frowned on that. Our airline's really good like that. They'll back you to the hill. If you go, I've had a couple of goes, I'm off somewhere, you file the safety report and it comes back, well done, good decision, sort of thing. Where they will have a problem, if you tried to get in and you've made an arse of it and something's gone wrong, then they're like, why on earth did you even try it in the first place?
Yeah.
So they all want you to be completely safe.
I wasn't aware, to be honest, that they held for that long. A 3-hour hold is a long time, isn't it, to be waiting for it to clear up?
Yeah, that is a long hold. But then again, with the 7.8, you can get the fuel on, can't you? You can fill the thing up.
Yeah.
This is a good thing about the 7.5. Our max landing weight was 90 tons. The max takeoff weight of the 321 is 89. So you could put an awful lot of fuel on. The 7.5 would hold 34 tons of fuel.
Yep.
Obviously, it'll burn through it a lot quicker than the 321 Neo will. An awful lot quicker. It's at least a ton an hour more. And if you're heavy, it'll be a lot more than that. It'll be near a sort of 1.5 tons more, maybe 2. So it'll burn through the fuel a lot quicker, but you can get a lot of it on, and the max landing weight's really, really quite high.
Doesn't sound very cost effective for airlines to be flying in strong winds, does it? All this extra fuel and holding and diversions.
Eddie just enjoying the commentary as well. Thank you, Eddie. Yeah, we do have, for anyone who is just joining, we do have Captain Mark with us today. He's our resident Airbus pilot who's, I'm sure you all know him by now, well involved in the channel and different videos. But we've kind of got a bit of a new system where we can bring Mark into the streams with video and good quality audio, and Mark was available today, so here he is, looking fresh.
It's nice to be here.
Jet 273 heading out to Malaga. And we got a little bit of a break in the arrivals for the moment.
Look how dark that.
It's gone horrible, hasn't it?
Look at that.
I do need to thank Smithy for gifting a membership to Matas earlier on. Thanks very much, Smithy. Appreciate you, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks again for the quite a marathon bonus show on Monday.
Yeah.
You did tune into that, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. It's got some 10 out of 10s. Smithy emotes in the chat for the bonus stream on Monday. Do keep an eye out for those, folks, because they do pop up here and there. We do try and bring you some bonus shows. I know whenever Matt's available, he's always dropping us a message like, "Oh, do you mind if I do another show? I want to get another show out for everybody."
I was going to say, there's no better way to start Monday than a message from Matt saying, I fancy a bonus show.
Mega.
Yeah, go on.
Paul gifting a membership to the community. Thank you very much, Paul, putting us on 20 brand new memberships today. Really appreciate that.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, he's asking, where's my favourite destination? Anywhere that's easy, mate. To be fair, I'm too old to mess around with difficult places. I mean, out of interesting ones that I've said before, I like 19 at Dalaman. It's captain's only. It's an RMP, and you're flying sort of in between the hills. That's pretty cool. Geneva's nice for the views and all of that. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, for a nice day out, Belfast and back's always a nice, easy one. Yeah, I used to like coming into Manchester, to be honest. It means I could go home and have a sleep. Go to bed, which I don't get to see much of. I have had a message, actually. There's a very special young man watching. There's a lad called Harry who's watching with his lovely girlfriend. And every time I see her, she's one of the cabin crew, she's a lovely girl. She's an absolutely wonderful lady. Every time I see her, she holds her hand up, and I take a picture of the fact that there's no engagement ring on her finger, and I send it to her. I might get her wed yesterday. But they've just messaged me to say they're watching. So, yeah, used to love flying with Harry, used to love winding him up as a smashing lad.
Causing trouble.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, would you expect anything less?
Steve Carter saying a nice approach to Dalaman. I need to do it in the sim. I don't think I've flown into Dalaman in the sim.
Yeah.
There's probably so many places where, like, I've been doing flight simming for like 20 years, and there's probably loads of places that I've not even been to.
Bit of a stomping at Dalaman, though.
Yeah.
If you're doing from Manchester, anyway.
Hey, AD, great to see you. Thanks very much. It is a bit of a sketchy day today, dude. It is interesting, to say the least, here at Manchester.
It's quite unpredictable, because when that Brussels came in for the second attempt, it was a lot more calm, and now it's picking back up again as well. So
yeah,
I have no idea how it's going to go.
Joanna says you need to do that with Dan.
Oh,
there you go. How long have you been together, Joanna? That's the question. Andrew, good morning. Great to see you. And let me have a look. Jill says we've missed some recommitments. Sorry, Jill. Let me skip back and find those. There we go. Yes, Jill, with a 46 months, saying hi to everybody connected to the very excellent Airliners Live. Loving it just as much as I did 46 months ago. Thank you, Jill. I always hate missing messages like that. Thank you so much for the support. And Dave with a 30 month saying, loving the insight from Captain Mark. That's very much appreciated. Thanks, Dave. And Mark Johnson also gifting a membership to the community as well. If we ever do miss any support, guys, feel free to let us know in the chat.
Absolutely.
Usually we're just a little distracted, that's all. But
yeah, never intentional.
We'll always say a thank you if we see it come through.
The next arrival is an EasyJet. It seems like it's taking a similar route to what you were saying, Mark, with that Pole Hill, where you had that shortcut coming in from Amsterdam. It looks like it's following a similar route, but this time from Copenhagen. Wonder if you'll take a little shortcut onto line up on final approach.
I can't find it on the flying finder.
Yeah, just east of the field at the minute.
Yep. Easy PB, Papa Bravo.
Mate, this wind, man.
It's a bit silly, isn't it?
This is some proper gusts now.
Yeah, this is up there with some of the big storms, this.
Chantel, thank you very much for the premium economy membership. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the support. And Les tuning in from Brisbane, Australia. I bet you don't have this over there, Les.
I know, I bet it's a lovely day over there.
Northwest Aviation saying his favourite captain to fly with. Hello, Mr. Walker. How are you, sir? Miss you. I miss you all, actually. It's been hard leaving Manchester, missing all the good guys.
And for all the extra work that big old Manchester is, it sounds like you were quite fond of a lot of the crew, right?
Oh, it was brilliant. Yeah, I miss them all terribly. There was one of them. Well, there's a couple of them actually. One of them messaged me. It was on my last day. He was in the crew and gave us a big hug, and he walked out and burst into tears. And another one was crying when I told her I was leaving. But it's only because I feed them cakes. They're all.
I was going to say, how are we going to afford our food now?
Who's going to buy us cakes?
I have had a message actually from a young lady who wants me to start taking pictures of her ringless hand and sending it to someone who's not far from you guys.
Oh yeah,
maybe upstairs. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like driving a car sideways and.
She's got to wait 10 years, I think. That's how long Jen had to wait.
Yeah.
She's got a little while yet.
2.7 thousand watching. Welcome in, folks. Hope you're enjoying this midweek madness show, which extra madness today with this wind. And yeah, the wind is picking back up again. Stand by. Hope you're all staying safe and dry as well during this crazy weather.
We've not got that back yet, and your one needs a tap as well. There we go. Roger, how you doing, mate? So, I can tell you this, actually, chat, while we're waiting for the next arrival to come in. I had a bit of quite a big oopsie moment with a garden. And this kind of comes down to just not really having much DIY experience, right? Spent a load of money getting my garden sorted. They put a new decking in. Well, they extended my current decking, right? And they got rid of all the grass and they put some Indian sandstone down, which is quite porous. It soaks things up, right?
Yep.
When me and Jen were painting the decking, we put loads of cardboard down to protect it. And a little bit got through in one area onto the sandstone, and we've really struggled to get it out.
Oh, did it? Oh.
But it was only a tiny bit, and we got most of it out, so we're kind of all right. And then we were like, right, what colour should we paint everything? So we found this Ronseal fence paint that we liked the colour of. It was medium oak. It looked really nice. And we said, should we just get a big tub and we'll do the decking the same colour? And chat, I got a phone call the day before yesterday at about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon when me and Andy were in the office. Jen saying, you have to come back home now because the paint on the decking is lifting off in the rain and it's going to leak onto the new stone. I was like, what do you mean the paint's coming off the decking? And she's looked into it because Darcy had gone for a wee on the decking and she said it looked weird. And she noticed the paint was coming off. But then when she sprayed it with water to get the wee off the decking, even more paint was coming off on the water. And I don't know how many of you guys know this. There's probably some who know. You cannot put fence paint on decking.
Yeah.
Because fence paint, it turns out, can only be used on fences because it's a rough wood.
Yeah.
And on a smooth wood like decking, it can't bond to it. And what happens is when water pools on it, the paint just lifts off.
Wow.
And we were like, oh my God, it's gonna leak onto the new stone. It's just gonna get paint all over the stone. It's gonna be an absolute nightmare. So we had to leg it to B&Q, get some paint stripper. This was at like 7 o'clock at night. Strip all of the decking, pressure wash it all off. My neighbours must have hated me. I was like pressure washing till like 9:30 at night. And managed to get it all off. So lesson learned, chat. Never use fence paint on decking. It's definitely a lesson. So we've had to get all the paint off, and we're gonna have to just stain it. I think stain it is the plan. So
Gosh.
There you go. Watch out, chat.
Yeah.
It was that was an experience.
That's the thing about DIY is like a little mistake like that could just be a big pain.
Mate, it would have ruined the whole. If that paint had leaked onto the brand new stones that we'd put down, it would have ruined the whole garden. Like, all that money that we spent on it would have just gone in the bin.
Yes. Wow.
We would have had to get the stones up, relay them. Like, it just would have been an absolute disaster.
Yeah. It's a good job Jen noticed then, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. Like, literally, I just couldn't believe it. I just thought wood paint was paint, isn't it?
Paint is paint, yeah.
You wouldn't know, eh? Shirley Dev, welcome back for 22 months of membership to the channel. Thank you very much, dude. Really appreciate that.
Thank you. Got a Ryanair taking off on the 2-3 left runway. 737-800 series. The wind is still pretty strong here. We've got an aircraft on final approach, though, so finally the wait for an arrival is almost over. And it's an EasyJet coming in from Copenhagen. A320 with the sharklets as well.
Oil every time, says Andy. Mate, it must have been completely just... I know you can get decking paint, Dave, because on our old decking, we put proper decking paint on it. But I just thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I never would have imagined that. But there you go. This is what you'd expect from someone who peels his mushrooms. Listen here, Hannah, we'll have none of that. You know what I mean? I'm coming on here being honest, letting you know what's gone on.
The whole tower is shaking here. How windy it is. Oh, mate, it's picking right back up as well.
Yeah, so we're...
I can't even stand up straight.
Keeping an eye on the next arrival then. EasyJet from Copenhagen, followed in by an EasyJet from Amsterdam. Visibility open right back up again now.
Yeah.
Can't say the same about the wind, but...
You're talking that Ronsil fence paint, you know. There's quite a few girls I've seen have seemed to have used that instead of spray tan.
Mild oak colour.
Yeah. I saw one the other day. I was sitting there, rollers in, walking around the shopping centre with the rollers in, and honestly, it looked like they had a swim in a pot of Ronsil, and I was like, "You're not got a mirror in your house."
We used to say at schools,
yeah, I'm looking good.
You've been tangled. You've been tangled.
Yeah.
Well, it was even worse than that. It was like, it was like dark oak colour. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? It was an interesting spray tan. Yeah, but yeah, it did make me think of Ronsil fence paint, the dark one. I was like, wow. But she was in a dressing gown as well and had fluffy slippers on.
No, watch out.
Full shebang.
Oh, yeah. No half measures. Yeah, well done. Good skills.
EasyJet approach is lined up for an arrival into Barton. Literally, yes.
Yeah.
There's the runway there in front of us. So that when we did that sim arrival into East Mids with that big crosswind, and I was at the controls for that little other attempt, and couldn't see the runway. Viz wasn't very good, and then you could finally see it. Martin goes, "There's the runway." And I'm looking in front of us like, where is it? I can't see it. Oh, yeah, it's over there.
It's at your left window, mate.
Yeah.
That happened to me flying into Dublin in the sim before.
Turn your head.
It's quite low vis, and then it opened up about sort of 800 feet. And you're looking for the runway, and you just can't see it. And then you look to the side, and there it is.
Yeah, the trick is just put yourself on the scent line. Draw an extended line out from the scent line. Look at the scenery ahead of you. Draw a line. And I mean, if you're flying in normal conditions, you'd put the scent line between your legs. That's where you ideally want it. But obviously, with a crosswind, you're out pointing in the wrong direction. But as long as you're over that scent line, you're all right. And just keep. The trick is with the landings is just to track the scent line, get the scent line nailed, absolutely spot on first, and then everything else will fall into place from there. Busy 82 saying, talking to Dalaman, he's on about, he had an amazing approach there after a runway change. They flying what felt like through the mountains, chasing other aircraft in the holding patterns, felt like Top Gun. Yeah. When they swap runway at last minute there, it's all, you're all up in holding patterns over the mountains, and then you have to fly this approach in through the valley. It's quite good fun.
Incredible job there by the EasyJet in from Copenhagen. Absolutely no stress at all.
Yeah.
Chat, I just need to test something very quick. Just bear with me.
Michael's asking, does the landing gear help or make things worse with crosswind landings? It's it's going to pick up a bit of the wind. It's going to be affected by it slightly. The thing about the landing gear is it's got a limit, a stress limit, and you want that aircraft straight when you land. They say you're allowed 5 degrees of drift, but it's better to have it completely straight. The landing gear isn't designed to take sideways loads. And you imagine, that aircraft's going to weigh 60, 62 tons, something like that. It's coming in at 150 mile an hour, 160 mile an hour, and you land sideways, and the strain on that gear is immense. So you want it straight. And you can have a look on YouTube. There's some appalling crosswind landings. A couple of them are 380 ones where they're completely, haven't laid the drift off at all. They're landing completely sideways. But with the Airbus, if it feels like you've landed laterally sideways out of limits, you've strained the landing gear, it'll print out. It'll give you a load, what's called a load 15 form, and you read it, oh dear. Have to phone the engineers, have to come out and do an assessment on the aircraft. And there's a few other things, a hard landing, but the sideways landing is one that, if on a day like today, if you haven't got that aircraft completely straight, and there's too much sideways drift when you land, it'll print out, and then the aircraft's grounded until someone's checked it over and said, yeah, you're fit to fly.
Fairly decent crabbing from this EasyJet from Amsterdam next to make an approach. Andy says, I took off half an hour ago in the flight sim from Liverpool in a Cessna 152 and I still haven't cleared the runway threshold.
I used to do that as a flying instructor. If it was a really windy day, we'd go up in the 152. We'd go up at a height where it was really strong wind and teach them slow flight. And if we did it once where we got it flaps out, got it so slow that the ground speed went down to 0 on the GPS, and then it started ticking again, but we're actually going backwards.
Gosh.
The wind was like 65, 70 knots, and we were sitting there at like 60, and we were going backwards. It was so cool.
A very warm welcome to everyone tuning in. Just over 3,000 live viewers on the YouTube channel. Welcome to Manchester Airport, where we're getting some significant gusts on the approach, which is making for some incredible viewing. Great pilot skill on display as well. And on the hotline, we got Mr. Captain Mark, who's an Airbus captain, who was based here at Manchester up until about a week ago, giving us all the insight into what's going on. So if you love your aviation, this is a great place to be today.
Yeah, this EasyJet just dropped the landing gear. Now we're ready for the landing. Coming in from Amsterdam this time.
I've got one from Dan here. He's saying he was flying back from Cancun on a TUI Dreamliner, and the pilot announced he had to perform a full-speed takeoff as a test and would be quite shaky on initial climb. I don't know. I'm not sure what that is. It's probably a full-power takeoff. Sometimes you use it, but as Andy did in the sim last night when he was talking about the flex temperature, you very rarely use full power on takeoff. If the runway's contaminated or there's wind shear, or it's a really short runway and you're heavy, then you'd use full power. But ideally you want to use less engine power because it saves the wear and tear on the engines, and because the engines are about a quarter of the cost of the aircraft, you really want to look after them, make them last as long as possible. It's wonderful. Yeah, Jarrah Driver, wonderful sun here in Sunderland. Yeah, I'm just up the road, mate, so it's nice here at the moment. I'm sure that will change.
Yeah, we're keeping the eye on the Twitch chat as well. Any questions that you've got, guys, feel free to put them in the chat.
Yeah, I can't see the Twitch chat. I haven't got the link.
I'm going to send you a link so you can see both.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
The second go around of the stream. That EasyJet there arriving in from Amsterdam, coming round for another go.
Must have been a quick decision there by the crew.
Yeah, the wind caught the right-hand wing and lifted it, and destabilised it right in the flare. That's a shame.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
Is that just an immediate go around, I assume, as a pilot? Then you just don't mess around.
Yeah, I mean, you want the safest options. You just want to get out of there as quick as you can. If that happens, there comes a point where you can say, well, yeah, all right, I can probably manhandle this back on the ground. But when you're that close to the ground, you get a gust like that just puts the wing up. Then it's just a case of let's run away quickly, and we'll come around for another go.
Hainan Airbus A330 on a taxi out next. Currently nothing on final approach, although there is a British Airways A320 coming in from Heathrow on the downwind.
Yeah, that'll have the IAEs on board.
Great to see the A330 operator.
Going over the top, have we?
It's a departing ATR.
Oh. I've
snuck out.
I've got some filters on here, I must have missed that.
I always laugh, every time you do go around, ATC will ask you, why did you go around? And I've seen the chat, they're saying, wind shear caused the wing dip, and you sort of, half you wants to say, well, you're not looking out the window. You saw what happened. That's why we went around.
Yeah. Good to see you, ALATC in the chat.
Thank you, mate.
I'm sure you'll get some good intel today on the airwaves.
Andy with a good question in the chat saying, how close to flight handling is MSFest 2024 with all of the best PC peripherals?
Well, as you saw, quite often when I'm sitting in that sim, I'm trying to put my seatbelts on, or I'm trying to reach for something, like the nose wheel tiller or whatever that's not there, and when Ed come and sat in it, he went for the overhead panel, and it does immerse you completely. I know we've been playing about with the flight controls on the sim there because we found there was a bit of a dead zone, and I was finding it a little bit different to the actual aircraft. I mean, Andy and Martin can actually fly the sim a lot better than I can because the Airbus is slightly different. But we're having a bit of investigation, a little play with it. But I need to have a go on that new one that you were saying that handles differently.
Yeah, we think it's a Phoenix thing, don't we?
We can have a play and see what that's like. And I remember my mate built a 777 sim in his garage, and it didn't fly anything like an aircraft. And we went in, we adjusted the settings, and we got it, absolutely spot on. So yeah, they can be very, very good. I know some friends of mine have got a flight sim of theirs, and they've had real Airbus guys fly it and said it doesn't feel quite right. So there is some tweaking, but yeah, I mean it is very, very, very immersive, and it is very, very good. And yeah, I'm quite impressed with it. I'm looking forward to having more of a play with it.
Yeah. Wind Control have announced quite a lot of new stuff coming out in the next year as well, which we will be fitting to the sim, including radio panels, TCAS panels, the radio volume panel, and of course the overhead panel as well, which we're very much looking forward to. It's even surprised me, chat, with regards to how in-depth that overhead panel is, because I'll be honest, I completely expected more of a compact overhead panel.
Yeah.
But they've actually literally just gone full send it and done a full replica overhead panel, which I'm so excited for.
At a silly low price as well.
Yes.
That's just insane.
I'll keep nagging you guys. Will you email them every day, please, and just say, we need this, send it.
We will
do an email bomb, 1,000 emails a second, just bomb them.
Yeah, we will be getting it as soon as we can. Hey, Naras, good to see you, mate. How are you doing? Naras, are you live anytime this week, dude? Are you fishing anytime this week? Let me know. I've got a habit at the moment, Naras, of tuning in right as you're saying goodbye. It's happened on the last 2 or 3 streams. I messaged Gwen and I just said, does he know when I'm coming? But no, I definitely want to try and catch one of your streams, dude. But if you've got some time today, mate, this might be quite an interesting show for you today, because we've got some pretty high gusts here at Manchester. So we've had a couple of go-arounds already.
Chris is asking, is wind shear the same as a microburst? It's similar, it's not the same. Microburst, we talked about earlier with the Dallas, the actual Dallas one was brought down by a microburst. It was just where the whole bottom of the cloud just pushes you into the ground. But, wind shear will the windshield will pick it up. Windshield's a major change in wind direction, and it will unstabilise the aircraft. It can be quite dangerous if you have a massive loss of lift as well. If you have a real drop in airspeed, it's, the wings keep you in the air by having lots of air particles going over the wings, and if that suddenly stops, they don't work very well. But yeah, microburst is different, but I didn't mention it because I didn't really want to start going down microburst route and confusing people But yeah, it is different. I mean, I haven't heard of over in the UK. I don't think we get them very often. With the big storms that Laurie has to suffer in Texas, you get them there. But again, the trick is you just stay well away from all thunderstorms. And this ties into Eddie asking how many times has my plane been struck by lightning? Never. Because I don't go anywhere near thunderstorms. Most aircraft get struck by lightning about once a year. And that's not generally a failing on the pilot's part. It's just that sometimes, the lightning will jump and it'll hit your aircraft. Not many people actively, fly into an active thunderstorm. As a matter of course, they just avoid it like the plague.
Well, we got delayed back out of America when we went because lightning hit the wing of the aircraft on stand and went off and actually hit a ground crew guy. So we were delayed coming out of America because of that. But I guess something like that is really rare. But it was a big bang, I tell you that.
Bang on it today. PB477. I'm still working with the same outfit. I've just changed base, mate. I'm not in Manchester anymore. I've just transferred to my new base, which is 20 minutes drive from home instead of 4 hours drive.
Much better. Drift ski 100 to 400 mil is ideal, I'd say, for aviation photography. That kind of covers you for most things, I'd say. But here we go, British Airways A320 with the IAE engines on board. Next to make an approach into Manchester.
Oh, here's a bit of good news. Lewis, he's passed his first set of ATPL exams.
Hey, congratulations, mate.
Yeah, well done, mate. Good luck with the next lot. Just keep going and keep doing it. And yeah, you do grand. I'm really pleased to hear that. That's cheered me up no end.
Yeah, that vehicle, Neras, it's scaring birds away. It makes all sorts of different noises, and if they really need to scare them away, they start shooting flares and stuff. It's quite cool. Following this British Airways in is the EasyJet that went around a moment ago from Amsterdam as well. So the next couple of arrivals to keep an eye on. No messing about with a BA 320.
Struggling so much here because I'm watching the stream. Obviously, you've got the delay, so the BA for me is still in the air, and I'm like, is he down here? Is he down here? What's going on here?
Touching down after a brief journey up from London Heathrow. I'm not sure what the weather's like at Heathrow, but yesterday that was also pretty windy. Likewise, not straight down the runway on the winds. I already got a visual of the next arrival, which is that EasyJet that did the go around, pretty late go around as well, flared the aircraft, and then had a big gust of wind that set it off, and they decided to go around immediately. Waiting for a second attempt. Still pretty windy here at Manchester. I know with the Brussels I did a go around earlier, came back around, and by the time it was landing the second time it was pretty calm in comparison. Here we go.
With an aircraft with underslung engines, you've got to do the crab technique.
Second approach for the EasyJet. absolutely excellent landing second time round.
Yes, I would warn the passengers it might be a bit lumpy on the way in. Make sure your belts are tight. I'd always warn them on that. Without unnerving them, I wouldn't say, oh, it's blowing a hoolie, it's going to be rough as a badger's backside. I'd just say, look, it might be a bit lumpy, so make sure your belts are nice and tight on the way in. With the, I was flying instructor years ago, you would teach this technique that they're doing now, the crab, and lay off the drift with the rudder, and you get the wing down and put it down. But I would also teach them a method called the wing down technique. So from a long way out, what you would do is you would use the rudder, align the aircraft with the runway, so you're going straight, and then put wing down into wind. And you could adjust the controls. You're actually cross-controlling yourself. So you've got left rudder pushed and right aileron down, and you've got right control column down. And you'd fly straight towards the runway like you would on a normal landing. And it was especially good on a 152, 172 because you had the high wing, you weren't going to hit anything. But for people who struggled with this technique, the crab technique, this one was much more natural because you're looking straight down the runway. And if you come off the runway, you put a bit more aileron in, or if you need a bit more rudder, you can put a little bit more in. It's little corrections rather than in the flare, big push of rudder and then wing down and everything happening in the flare. So while you're set up like this, you've got the ailerons down, you've got the rudder in already. So the flare is just a little pull up and flare the aircraft and land it and keep the aileron into wind once you've landed. So I really like that technique, and I used to teach that to all my students as well.
Tom and Anne, thank you very much for gifting a membership to the community going to Cricket. Kaz, thank you very much for that. And EasyJet from Munich next to land, followed in by a Vueling A320 on the way in as well, and a couple of EasyJets, so starting to pick up on the approaches for the next few minutes.
A lot of EasyJet arrivals, haven't we?
Yeah. No worries, Tom and Anne.
Do I enjoy this? And Nick's asking, do I enjoy the challenge of a sporty landing? Oh, I like nice, easy days, mate. I'm too old to mess about with difficult landings. My heart's only got so many beats left in it. I don't want to use any up, messing about. It's there are people out there who love the challenge, and they're a lot younger than me. Once you get a bit older, you're just like, oh, I can't be cheating with this anymore. I just want a nice, easy day out and go home.
Have you done many go-arounds in your career?
Oh, mate, honestly. All the years I've been a captain, right? All the storms I've flown in, I remember that one of the best ones was Storm Agnes. Mac Aviation, Eric was filming us, and the rudder, it was just awful. There was this squall line had come in because we'd had to stop for fuel because we had a lightweight aircraft, and there was the Eurowings that had two goes. We were following him on the second. He had a second go around and went back to Dusseldorf. He said, "Stuff this, I'm off." It was awful, and thank God we got him first time. Even when the cabin crew come and shook me hand after Storm Dudley. All those storms, never had a go around. The only go around I've done as a captain was at Manchester on a gin clear day, coming back from Copenhagen. Wasn't a cloud in the sky, light wind down the runway, and air traffic cleared two aircraft. One was our company, and one was another company that has a yellow harp on the tail, to cross the runway in front of us. And our aircraft got across, no problem. And we're at 400 feet, and this other aircraft starts to move. He wasn't even on the runway. And I'm like, looked at me mate, went, he's not. But he is. 300 feet, he's got the nose sort of half on the runway, still not anywhere near crossing it. About 250 feet, he's sitting right in the middle of the runway. And I looked at me mate, and I'm about, we'll go down to 160, and then we're out of here. Yep. And at 200 feet, he's still on the runway, and air traffic went go around. I'm like, I don't believe this. Oh, I was right. Honestly, I wasn't happy. I was raging. All those
first
years,
go around.
all those years, and as a captain, I'd not done a go around, and then because someone couldn't get his finger, if he'd looked out the flaming window and saw how close we were, he could have seen. Oh yeah, I better get a move on here.
Yeah.
It's like a special award. Do you reckon you can get a whole? Do you reckon you get like an award for the whole career not doing a single go around?
Yeah,
like a trophy.
This GW's asking, how do you gauge when and well the extent of the flare? It depends on the aircraft. With light aircraft, It's just a practice thing. It's just coming in, practicing your circuits, coming in and getting used to it. With the jets, it's got a radio altimeter that calls out 50, 40, 20, and they like you to start the flare at between 20 and 30. On a 7.5 and a 320 and now I'd start the flare at 30. On a 320, I'd start a bit later. But what you're doing is you're looking at the ground coming up towards you. You're looking down the runway, and you're judging the closure rate, as they call it. So, I mean, the other day in Tenerife, we had a fair bit of extra speed. I didn't flare. It was at 20. It was a very, very small check, just a little check rather than the flare, just to try and arrest the descent rate, just slow down the descent rate, and then as you sort of come down to the runway, you can give it a little more of a tweak. You don't really want to grease it on, as that was a greaser. Completely against the Airbus philosophy. They don't tell you to do that. You do a little check, a little flare, and wait. They don't want you to. They don't want you to try and grease it on, especially if the runway's contaminated. You want to break through the contaminant, get the wheels breaking, you get the spoilers up, the full weight on the wheels, because you can end up aquaplaning.
Oh, I'm glad you've said that, Mark. That gives me a good excuse there, mate. Thank you.
I've been doing good landings all this time.
You know what, Andy? Me and you, we've been absolutely bossing it this whole time in the sim.
As per Airbus.
Exactly what Airbus tells us to do, slamming the landings.
It's a win-win, isn't it?
You want it to plonk down. You don't want to be, trying to grease it. Although, if the conditions are right, that's what you try and do. You always try and hold it off a little bit longer. But,
that EasyJet just arrived in from Munich, and next to land is Yves Welling from Barcelona on the approach as well.
Oh, okay. And still up and
Rob
down.
saying Aer Lingus did a go around. He did a full 360. Never seen that before. Yeah, it might be he was waiting for a gap. They were waiting for a space to get him in. Normally they just put you on a circuit, bring you back into land. But yeah, I mean, again, like I said, sometimes you'd want a little bit of time to compose yourself, have a little think. Do I really want to have another go at this, or do I want to go somewhere else?
Next arrival is the Welling. EasyJet's just crossed the runway. And this Welling, as Martin said, coming in for Barcelona's Airbus A320. I can just see the landing lights on now as well. Let me check the METAR as well, out of curiosity. You find in Manchester, sometimes the METAR's a bit hit and miss, isn't it?
Yeah, they're every half hour. The better one to go for is the ATIS, which, if you know, you can actually phone it and have a listen to it. The only problem is it's got the TAF on it as well, so you have to sit there and listen to it all. Yep. It's all like a like a computerized voice. But you can phone. There's various airports have the ATIS, and that again, it's half hour, but it's a little bit more up to date, a little bit more. It tells you about runways. It tells you about if there's wind shear forecast or reported, and it's a little bit better.
Whereas the METAR 14 knots at 300, so that's not. It's not. You read that, you don't think it's very crazy.
Yeah.
We had.
That's.
We met Lee Smythe this morning, one of our longest serving VIPs. And he just poked his head in then before he was about to leave. He says, I've just come to say hello to Captain Mark. He said, I've seen him on the stream. I said, oh, no, he's calling in via video link. He's like, no way. He said, is that good? I thought he was here at the RVP. Oh, he's a good lad.
It's good. This mic you've sent us is very nice.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Nick was saying if you grease it, you might be eating into runway length. Yes, places like Jersey and Isle of Man, where the runways are really short, Gibraltar, you want to get it down. You don't fanny around trying to grease it on. You just get it down. And you've got the runway markings, and you've got to land in the touchdown zone of those runway markings. And if you're trying to grease it on and be a clever so-and-so, and you come outside the touchdown zone, you've got to go around. And you're like, come on, just get it down. Don't mess about.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you can overcook a flare. You can give it a little bit of a tug, and the aircraft sort of floats. And now you're sort of looking at the touchdown zone. You're thinking, I need to get this down. You never push forward. You can release the back pressure a bit. The flight crew techniques manual say you can release the back pressure, but don't ever push forward. And you can have some problems there.
One thing I was thinking, Mark,
Chris is saying,
on a day like today, if how would I ask this? Like, you're saying you have to be down within the touchdown zone there. Is there any pilot discretion in that at all? If the aircraft's relatively stable, but you've just caught a little bit of a draft up, but you know that a runway like Manchester for an A320, for example, there's plenty of runway. You know you're going to get it down, and you're just going to be a little bit long. Is there any discretion in that with regards to, like, especially on a day like today where you really want to make the most of being stable?
No, I mean, if you're going to be outside the touchdown zone, you've got to go around.
Right.
The markings, the touchdown zone markings are variable. On a shorter runway, you've got less touchdown zone markings.
Yeah.
And on a longer runway, you've got more. So if you're going to be out, even if it's all, all right, so I had a little bit of a float, we're floating down. Oh, yeah, I can see I'm going to land a bit deep. As long as I'm in the touchdown zone, you've got to remember that the touchdown zone markings, when you're looking out from the nose, the last one, when it disappears under the nose, you're actually still in it. If you can't see it, you've got to go around.
Yeah.
If you're going to land outside that zone, it don't matter how long, even at Paris, you've got 4,000 metre runways, you've got to go around.
Right.
Yeah. And, that's the, I mean, you've got plenty of runway markings there. If you're that far down a 4,000 metre runway, then really you've done something very, very wrong.
Yeah.
The idea is, again, when we do the landing video, we'll talk about it. It's so important that you have a nice stabilised approach. And if you've got a nice stabilised approach and everything's where it should be, the chance of the landing be a good one are a lot better. If you're unstable and you're too high, you've come in too fast or whatever, then you're looking at a deep landing. And that's all you've got to do is go on the Aviation Herald website and look at all the runway overruns. Every single one, they've come in too fast, they've landed halfway down at a short runway and gone off the end.
Yeah.
And the rules are there for a reason. You just can't. If you're going to be deep, doesn't matter, 3,000 metre runway, you've got to think where those touchdowns and markings end. They're a good way down the runway. And you do a landing performance, and you might have set it up, say, okay, water brake, low, idle, reverse. But because you're expecting to land at the middle of the touchdown zone, and you've ended up right at the end of it, you're now eaten up. Say it says you're going to take 2,200 metres to land. You might only have 2,000. Yeah. Because you've landed so deep.
And Loopy just letting us know we've just hit 1,000 likes on the stream. Thank you very much, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the stream today, folks. Feel free to share the stream around as well. And if you're watching on Twitch, I know a lot of you guys have maybe got some more flight sim related questions. Feel free to get those in the chat. We can put them to Captain Mark as well.
Yeah, Chris was saying, notice the thrust reversers deploy before the nose wheel touches down. What happens if you need to go around? By that point, once you're down, you don't. That's it, you're down. You can't do a go around once you've deployed the thrust reversers, because the logic is that if you put toga on, the thrust reverser doors take time to close. They might not close. You might end up with full power. Once you've got the reversers out, you're committed. So if you hit a gust, you've got to just deal with it. You can't go around. So up until the point where you touch this, once you touch down, that's when you apply the thrust reversers. But if at any point up till they're deployed, you can do a go around. So even if you've touched down and you've bounced, or you've touched down and you've hit a gust, as long as the thrust reversers aren't out, you can always slam those thrust levers forward and go.
Yeah.
But you don't exactly aim for the piano keys. When you look at the touchdown zone markings, there's the aiming point, which is two big thick white rectangular blocks. And there, you'll have some touchdown zone markings behind it. You'll have some ahead of it. But there's what you're actually aiming for. And if you look, next to them will be the PAPI lights, and also the ILS glide slope transmitter will be there, because that's your aiming point. That's where you want to be landing as close to that as possible. But generally, for guys who are learning, you want it at the right speed, in the right place, as close to the centre line as you can get it. You run. In the early days, it's not going to be a precise work of art. It'll be a little bit industrial, but as long as it's right speed, right place, as close to centre line as possible. That's safe, and that's what you want.
E. Willis is asking a question which sort of ties into ATC, really, saying, is there a certain time that each plane has to wait before landing so that there's no collision? That's not anything to do with the pilots there. Wills, it's the ATC that gives the permission for the aircraft to land. So it's down to the ATC tower controller who dictates when an aircraft can land or when there's not enough separation to land.
Yeah, the other thing as well is that the air traffic should be vectoring you in, bringing you in at a correct distance, but there are distances you need to be behind. So say I was coming behind a 380, I have to be 7 miles behind it, because if you imagine when a ship goes through water, you see the wake left by the ship, all the seas all roughed up by the wake of this big vessel going through the water. Well, air acts exactly the same as water like that. When you've got something like the 380 coming, it churns the air up. So you want to be 7 miles behind it. If you have a heavy, like a 78, a 350, 76, something like that, you want to be 5 miles. And the UK use a thing for upper medium, which is a 757. It's a big, heavy plane. And you want to be at least 4 miles behind that. Normally, you can be like 2 or 3 miles behind. There is a thing called RECAT EU. Someone in Europe, in Brussels, sitting in an office, said, actually, we can cut all of those times down.
Oh, right.
And so the RECAT EU, some airports use it. I always refuse it because I don't think it's a good idea. It says that you can come in behind a 380 5 miles. Or you can come in behind a 747-400 4 miles, or behind an MD-11 at 3 miles. And I remember years ago when I was a first officer, we went into Barcelona 5 miles behind a Qatar 330, we ended up going around.
Yeah.
So the idea of coming 5 miles behind a 380 to me is crazy, and I will never do it.
Yeah,
Like, no. I did get it once at Amsterdam. They brought me in behind a Chinese cargo 74. This was a few months back now. And they told me it was a 787. It was actually a 747. They brought us in quite close behind it. I think we were about 4 miles behind it. And when we taxied off and I saw it, I wasn't very happy. So I would have wanted more clearance, because you just want to stay well away from them. There's time based for departure as well. You want to be 3 minutes behind an A380, 2 minutes behind a heavy. And that reduces if you're using intersections. And RECAT EU again brings that down. 140 seconds behind a 380, it ain't going to happen. I want for at least 3 minutes behind one of those.
EasyJet A321 Neo coming in from Paris now. Next to land. Nicely done. Getting blown around a lot there. There's another EasyJet next to land as well. Constant stream of orange low coster. This is the A321. Quite a new airframe to see here at Manchester with EasyJet. I think they've only had a couple based here for probably less than a year now, to be honest.
Jim's he's saying about the 380, they cause localizer errors. Yeah, so if you imagine the size of it, it lands. The localizer, which gives you your electronic center line for the runway that you fly down, the transmitter's at the far end of the runway. So when that aircraft goes to the end of the runway and turns off, you've got this huge lump of metal that blocks the signal from the localizer.
Yes.
And as it taxis off the runway, it blocks it. I had it coming in on 5 right years ago. And the localizer just suddenly went way off to the left. So just took the autopilot out, pointed it at the runway until the thing was out of the way, and then you can just continue.
Yeah.
Yes, you just have to be aware of it, just because it's so big, it just bends the beam. Duncan's asking, can you explain turbulence and how not so dangerous it is? It's not dangerous, it's just uncomfortable. We've got, if you have a look through on the channel's videos, there's 3 fear of flying videos. The first one's got, I think, 2.3 million views. We talk about it in there. So have a watch of that. That's got it in a lot more detail than I've got. I can explain it here. But yeah, it's not dangerous, mate. It's just uncomfortable. It's just annoying.
Unless you don't have your seatbelt on.
Yeah, then it depends how bad it is. That's why I always tell people it's going to be like, just keep your belts on if you're going to be sitting down. It's just safer. that man's asking, different types of reversers, thrust reversers, some work better than the other. Can you feel a difference from the cockpit? No, not from the flight deck, we don't. Yeah, there's different types. The old Mad Dogs, the DC-9s and MD-80s and that, and the original 7.3s had the clamshell ones. They're like buckets. Sorry, no, clamshell bucket ones. They open up. A lot of the biz jets have them. And, you pull the reverser lever up and these things open and reverse all the flow forward. They work quite well. But the engines are a bit underpowered anyway, normally, if you've got one of those on the older planes. The other ones are, you've got the translating sleeve, which the 320 Neos, the 7.5 and the 7.3s have. And that's a big sleeve that pushes back. And the CEO Airbuses have these, like, blocker doors that open. You probably be able to see it on the ones just landed. And there's 4 little doors that open. And the thing is, with this style, you're only reversing what's called the bypassed air. You're only reversing the air that goes around the core of the engine. About 3/4 of the thrust is produced by that big fan. I think on the Neos it's near 80%. What? But the centre bit of the engine is still producing thrust that's pushing you forward. So they're sort of fighting each other a little bit, but because the fan is more powerful, it overrides it.
This Ryanair is like lined up really weird. Are they taking 2-3 left, I assume? You might see it on flight radar. Sorry to interrupt you there, Mark.
Yes.
I was like, that's a really strange approach they're taking. I'm going to assume that's 2-3 left. And there's now a runway inspection going on 2-3 right, so there might have been something might have happened.
Someone
there.
said something about birds.
Possibly, yeah.
Eden above saying, did that EasyJet report birds?
Oh, I wonder if you've seen it on the stream, guys. This Ryanair's not lined up for this runway. It's going over to the other runway, but looks it's just super rare to catch. Wow, that looks so bizarre. Wow.
Evs is asking, why is it harder to land a 3.8 than the bigger aircraft in high winds? I don't know. I didn't know it was. I mean, I know a guy at Manchester used to fly them, and he said it was a beautiful aircraft to land in all conditions. He said it was very stable and it was a real treat to land. So I don't know. I haven't heard it's harder than anything else. The bigger aircraft generally ride the bumps a bit better because they've got more weight, more inertia. The lighter the aircraft, the more you're going to get chucked about, generally speaking. When you get things like an MD-11, which is a very challenging aircraft to fly, so I'm told, that's a different kettle of fish altogether, just because of the handling characteristics of it. But as far as I know, it's quite easy to land. That's what this bloke told me.
So yeah, there seems to be something on the runway over there. You can see they've just handled it actually. Maybe it was a bit of. I mean, you have debris on runways as well. When you got these really strong winds, bits of whatever that could be, littered nearby or what have you, could blow onto the runway, and obviously wildlife as well. Birds obviously going a lot faster. So that EasyJet probably reported something, maybe hit something. I'd have to watch the footage back, but I don't know if you guys in the chat seen anything. That last landing here on 2-3 right, and immediately the airfield ops were on it, and that Ryanair took a last sort of minute diversion to the other runway, which I've seen that before, because that runway doesn't have an ILS landing system. They don't usually use it for arrivals, and it also doesn't have a taxiway you can use to get back off the runway. You've got to backtrack to come off, so it's very rare to see arrivals on 2-3 left. But, of course, if there's nothing departing there, I think ATC can literally say, do you want to do a visual sidestep over to the other runway, I believe, if you're visual with that runway. Which, I suppose that's not...
Yeah, do it at Heathrow from time to time as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to get it in Palma. You'd always sort of land on 2-4 left, and then, so I'd always have 2-4 right in the secondary box and secondary flight plan.
Yeah.
And, if they give you the sidestep, you can just quickly do it. You can just quickly nip over.
How does the Airbus handle that? Because surely that's going to be all programmed in for 2-3 right. If all of a sudden you swing over to 2-3 left, is the Airbus gonna shout at you and be like, this is the wrong runway? And,
Yeah, I mean, the trick is set the secondary box up with 2-3 left in if there's any, indication this might happen. At short notice like that, what you can do is you can just turn the flight directors off, put the bird on,
Yes.
and do it as a visual procedure and just fly over. And, it's going to look weird on your map, but you just... The problem is because 2-3 left is offset, you then have to fly straight and level for a little bit to get back on the glide slope, the sort of the visual glide slope to land on 2-3 left because you'd be too low off at 2-3 right. But yeah, just flight directors off, I'm doing this as a visual and hang it over.
Do you think doing that with flight directors off and with the bird on, is that going to be different with these strong winds as well? Is that going to cause issues, or is it just the same really? Is not much?
Yeah, because you'd be visually flying it. I mean, you've noticed when I've been practicing in the sim, I always turn the flight directors off and have the bird on and just fly a raw date of ILS and not have it. What you would find is that when you look at your primary flight display on the Airbus, when you've got the track bar that's set, you set up on 232 with a runway. That's going to be way off where the bird is. The bird shows you your drift, so the bird is going to be way off, and then you're going to have to sort of get back under, and it's just a bit of manual flying. It's not a big deal really. It's quite good.
Andy's a bit optimistic, I think, taking the old waterproofing off the camera, but we'll roll with it.
It's a lot of work having that on. There you go, landing on 2-3 left for a change. And apparently there was some FOD on the runway. That was reported.
Yeah, someone in the chat reckons that the EasyJet may have hit a bird. They thought they saw a bit of it on the...
You can see the guys here having a bit of a meeting. I wonder if you can do a bit of lip reading. Yeah, they... Airfield Ops very, very quick to deal with that. And air traffic control just told the Ryanair to move over to 2-3 left. And it seems like that was a good resolution.
I think it shows as well, just in terms of like preparation and how the airports are looked after and stuff like that. Like, if you go around anywhere today, around even around countryside or whatever, you'll see things flying around in the wind.
Yep.
You never really see that at airports. It's not like there's just stuff flying onto the runway and this, that, the other, and bits of foliage and stuff just flying around. Everything is just completely clean, isn't it? It is quite impressive to see.
You see on that community app that you've got that whenever strong winds are forecast, if you've got it switched on, that notification, but Airfield Ops will ping up and say, strong wind warning, winds gusts of this to this, make sure all equipment's tied down and everything's put away, sort of thing, because they don't want it blown around on the ramp or anywhere. But they put a message out, before it happens to warn everyone.
I don't know anything about that. To be honest, I'm not really too sure about that.
I'll show you next time I'm in.
Next to land in from Prague, Ryanair, followed by a Scandinavian, and then an Aer Lingus ATR. So a few nice arrivals on the way in.
Yeah, visibility dropping off again. A bit of rain over on that side of the airfield, I think.
I remember years ago, I came out of Newcastle, donkeys years ago, and we were talking to Scottish Control by this point. And they called up and said, we just had a call from Newcastle. Apparently you've hit a bird on the runway. And I turned around and went, thanks very much. I'll notify the caterers. I was the only one who laughed at that.
Wind's really picking back up again now. Not seeing many Boeings landing today in these winds. Very much the Airbus show.
Rachie here. Do our videos cover phobias, claustrophobia, and the other one I can't pronounce? I don't think we've done that yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
Claustrophobia and that? No. Maybe we'll do one.
Practically Geek, thanks for the 32 months as well. Saying excited for TAS. Who else is going? It's been a long time. Thank you for Airlines Live for the incredible shows, and now the regular flight sim shows as well. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited. End of June, last weekend in June. We'll be there on a Saturday. The 27th, I believe, of June.
Apparently there's an F-15 with the US Air Force over the top. Not that we're going to see it today, unfortunately, unless he wants to do a little flyby.
Where?
I did just go to the bathroom. Usually you do flyby when I'm in there.
Yeah, well, you just had a 2-3 left landing when you went.
I know. I couldn't believe it. Like, typical.
That looked so weird though, that approach. Like it looks like it's really far off center, but because it's approaching a lot higher and over to the right a bit more as well from our POV. KLM A321 Neo heading back to Amsterdam Schiphol. Look how blue that looks on this contrast with the dark grey clouds behind. Scandinavian next land. Go ahead.
Brian's saying he watched a stream where the C-17s are doing, touch and go training. Wow. And then when you touch down, increase power, you have to reset the flaps to regain height. Yeah, I mean, what they do is when you get new guys coming, like cadets coming through, they normally go up the T side, and you can watch them flying around. They do circuits, touch and goes, they practice their landings. So when you land, you go full power, and you've got to get at least one stage of flap up. So the training captain, once the guy lands it, it's all right, I have control, toga, stage of flap up, and then off you go. But because the aircraft's currently trimming, sometimes you'll get the takeoff config warning, bing, 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 because the aircraft's not in a takeoff config, so you need to be in and it lasts for a couple of seconds. It's just an annoyance. But yeah, I mean, the guys who do it, I know one of the lads who does the circuits, and he says it's great fun. I'm sitting there like, fancy it, mate, to be honest.
Scandinavian from Oslo next to touchdown. We do have quite a nice flurry of arrivals coming up, chat. About 10 arrivals, one after the other now. So we're going to be focusing on those for the next 15 minutes or so. Great to have you all with us in the stream. If you are new, welcome into Airliners Live. We have a super friendly community chat, so we'd love for you to get involved in the chat. Don't be shy, don't be put off by how many people are here. If you've got any questions at all, put them in the chat. We'll try and answer them, and we'd love to welcome you into the community as well. Scandinavian Neo then arriving in from Oslo.
Denzal's asking a good one on Twitch. Have I flown any aircraft with unique livery? Yes, I have. The current airline, I've flown quite a few of them. I haven't done the very famous one. I can see we don't say who I work for, so I can't say too much without giving the game away. There was a very famous one years ago that looked really quite something. Apparently it was a bag of old spanners, but I never flew that one. My most favourite one, I have put the picture up on the Airlines Live Facebook community group years ago, is I got to fly the Iron Maiden 757 down to Djibouti in 2007, I think it was, just before the First World Tour. And I put some pictures up of that, and that really was something. It had Eddie on the tail and Iron Maiden. But yeah, that was quite a special day. That was. Had to get some pickies of that.
There you go, Scandinavian Neo on the way around as well, just coming in for another go. And we're going to blame Scooby-Doo because he put a load of FOD on the runway just before he's about to touch down. 10 gifted on Twitch.
Wow.
Come on, Scooby-Doo, mate. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. 10 gifted support, and get those toga emotes in the chat.
I floated the landing there, didn't it? A little bit, the Scandinavian. I do have the ability to replay some of these, but it's just non-stop arrivals at the moment. So.
It is. We've got the Aer Lingus ATR next to land from Dublin, followed in by a Ryanair arriving in from Oslo, and Norwegian following it in from Oslo as well. It's all happening here at Manchester Airport. Welcome in, chat.
It is. Looking at a visual now of this next arrival from Dublin. The ATR, I mean, the ATRs, like Mark said, the smaller planes, the lighter planes do get blown around a lot, but it just seems like the ATRs, they're not phased about strong winds a lot of the time. They seem to have this really good knack of hand flying the aircraft. I remember we went down to Lanzarote once when it was gusting 34, 35 knots across. A lot of the jets were really struggling. And the ATRs, them Binter and Canary Fly ATRs, it was like easy mode for them. They just
work it down, don't they? Not bothered. It's like the Dash 8s. I used to love watching the Dash 8s when we had them regularly at Manchester in the wind because it was just like nothing phased. And those aircraft, man, you can just throw them around for fun and they'll just do anything you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the old Binter boys make some interesting approaches down at the Canaries. They just 0Fs given. You're sort of sitting there like, what are you doing?
Here we go then.
It's a new base, Seamus. I've just changed base, mate. I'll come nearer home.
There is an ATR coming in.
J-Dub, welcome in, watching from Texas. Good to see you.
Hello.
I was asking if I ever had to slam the brakes on. No, I don't think I have. Never had to sort of slam them on to avoid anything, that's for certain. It's always been pretty safe.
Great job there from the ATR crew. Catching a little updraft again.
For a second there, I thought that might have been a go-around.
I don't think I've ever seen an ATR go around.
I haven't, they just don't.
Great job. Great job.
Yeah. You should think, like, you know, with these ATRs, you've got a massive runway to play with. They don't need much runway at all. But I assume they still have to follow the whole rule with the the touchdown markers. You know, if they go too long, they go around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the rules are the rules. They're there for safety, and you know, you don't want to be messing around.
White tips on the props. I don't think I've noticed that before, but looks quite smart.
I would imagine it's probably to produce a visual illusion that scares birds. They used to put spirals on the spin of the jet engine to try and sort of scare birds away from going near them, but
really works. You got those like blinking approach lights on things like the TBMs and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Firehold tuning in from Australia. Welcome in. Good to see you.
Welcome. Look at this, guys. This is crazy. Crazy winds. Ryanair next to land. That's 737-800 with Ryanair UK, the British subsidiary of Ryanair, based here at Manchester.
Ryanair from Oslo just coming into view. The landing lights just breaking through the cloud. That'll be our next arrival.
Rob's saying he flew a Cessna with a captain who worked with Bruce Dickinson, one of the Iron Maiden guy, one of the airlines blew through with. Well, I was at Australis with Bruce. Had him on the jump seat. Actually did my performance exam day. I was like, wow. I was sitting there like, I can't get my head around this. But I think he was at... he was... might have been at Brit World before that, I think. I'm not sure, but... yeah, Simply Planes with Henry saying that about the Australis ones. Yeah, it was GoJib that I flew, which was a bit of an old knacker, to be honest. And yeah, I have seen that flying around still. An STRX, that was a newer one. That actually had GPS and a few more gadgets, which I was really surprised they broke that up, because the newer ones had more kit than the older ones, and less hours. And yeah, so a couple of the older ones got knackered. I can't remember how many we had in the end. I think it was 6 when I left, maybe. But yeah, it was a lovely aircraft.
There we go, Ryanair next to land.
Very stable at the moment on the approach to the Ryanair. Just that little bit of crabbing to their right-hand side.
Big gust just hitting us here at the RVP.
I'm glad I'm not at work today.
Yeah, I bet. And that right-hand wing just catching a bit of lift just on the touchdown as well, but well worked down by the Ryanair 73 crew.
Wow.
And there is some thought that goes into streaming as well in conditions like this. Some of you may not realize at home. But obviously with streaming aviation, and especially in the position that we're in here, where we're on sort of airport grounds, and we're in the sort of non-public area of the RVP in the tower, we've had to come up with our own risk assessments, which have been submitted to TAS, and I believe the RVP have them as well, with regards to filming in conditions like this. So even so much as obviously the things that you'd expect, like Andy making sure that he's safe up there and everything's all tied down and locked in place, and you'll notice that the thing behind him is a completely different angle today to protect against. You don't want that door hitting him in the head or anything like that. But even down here, where I am, keeping an eye on things, we've got switches down here which will literally instantly kill the feed like that. So you guys, anything happens, bang, it's gone. You know what I mean? We've got sort of a list. I can't remember what it's called, but it's just on the PC here that literally sort of dictates to us whether we would continue filming or not if an emergency was called up and we were made aware of it. We would check it against that list and decide whether or not we'd continue broadcasting. We've also got an agreement where even though we may not be broadcasting, we'd still be recording just in case, God forbid, any of that footage was needed for any sort of investigation. So a lot does go into it, chat, and like I say, even so much as sort of emergency switches to just kill the video feed to the live stream and things. It's something, unfortunately, we hope we'll never have to use, but unfortunately you do have to kind of think about it when live streaming in storms and stuff like that.
So this plane did a go around just a few moments ago, quite a late one as well, kind of floated a bit on the touchdown, decided to go around. Here's the attempt 2 of the Scandinavian A320neo.
Alex, welcome in, watching from Australia. And Philip, good afternoon, welcome in. There you go. Nearly catching a similar updraft to what sent it around the first time, but working it down onto the ground. Great job. I'm not sure he wills. There's definitely some airports in the UK that are not very hospitable to filming in terms of like the police and stuff like that. I think Gatwick springs to mind quite a lot. They're not too fond of having people dotted around the airport, but I think most airports are quite hospitable, and Manchester Airport especially has something called the Airport Watch Scheme, which is a spotter you can sign up to, and you basically submit your ID and stuff like that, and that gets submitted and you get a pass. And basically what that is if you're ever approached by the police or something, you can show that pass to them and they can sort of confirm that you've been vetted and stuff like that to be around the airfield. And it's also encourages those members to kind of report anything that they may see around the airfield that's out of the ordinary. So sort of utilising spotters as kind of get more eyes for security around the airport, which is, I think, a great thing to do. And obviously here at the RVP, Manchester just really sort of welcomes spotting. I think it's a great location for it. But I did a question in the chat just saying, have you ever had to kill the feed? I'm very fortunate to say that we haven't. However, there was one instance where Charlie and I had to use the risk assessment that we'd made, and I think we stepped away from the stream for about sort of 5 minutes while we discussed whether or not to continue filming or not. That was the time where we had the one of the BBMF flight coming in with a single engine failure, So we were deciding whether or not to continue filming on that. So that's the only time we've luckily ever had to use the risk assessments and stuff that we've got. But here we go. This is quite a nice aircraft, the EasyJet in the newer scheme. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice that the orange is below the windows on this EasyJet, which I think looks great.
A few people asking about the weather, saying that it's been really bad. Sam saying it's bad where you are. There's a great big cell. Every rain, you see the dark clouds over the terminal. It's over Stockport at the moment. It's blown in sort of over Warrington way, but that's probably why the guys, when they said if they're going around, they're going straight ahead. The SAS guys said they're going to just climb straight ahead because the missed approach takes you up to the north, and you really wouldn't want to go into that. So that's probably explains that.
Yeah, I did wonder that.
Yeah.
And when you do go around,
nice.
when you do go around, do the ATC often give you like immediate instructions and you just got to follow them, or
they can do? Yeah, they can do if there's conflicting traffic or something. But yeah, it's. I mean, I've asked for it before. Sometimes, in the event of a missed approach, we want to climb straight ahead, or we want to turn left, or we want to do this because of the weather.
Yeah.
And you just have a look on your weather radar.
There is kind of like default instructions, isn't there, at some airfields as well that you kind of would follow if you did a go around.
Yeah. I mean, every runway's got its own missed approach. So you would fly the standard published missed approach. But sometimes in the simulator, when you're doing your single engine stuff, you've got this ridiculous missed approach to fly. And obviously it's in nav, but you've got to hand fly it. So you can always say, in the event of a missed approach, I want to climb straight ahead. And normally the train will go, no, standard missed approach off. But if there's weather or something in the way, then you tell them what you want to do. But if you don't do a go around, you don't need to worry. But you need to, every landing you have to think of as, I'm going to have to do a go around here. What am I going to do?
Yes.
And if you land, then that's the bonus.
Jet 2 on the south runway. That's heading out to Fjord Ventura. The next arrival in from Verona, EasyJet A320 Neo, followed by the Norwegian, which has took quite a long sort of vectored approach towards Wharton way and then back in. But again, another flurry of arrivals on the way in next.
There's a big rain cell about to hit us in about less than 10 minutes by the looks of it, so...
Yeah, getting prepared.
Yeah, and the visibility is going to fall off again, I think.
Yeah, another thing is obviously lightning would be an immediate end stream for us.
Yeah, you remember that time when we had that really close lightning randomly?
Yeah.
Me and Martin were here just offline doing a bit of work on the stream setup, and there was like just light rain at Manchester. Like there was nothing crazy going on. There was no lightning in the area. And then just this big bang happened. Like, what was that? Looked, it was on the lightning tracker. It was at the end of the runway, literally where Matt stands sometimes on the end of 2-3 right. It was there. It just hit there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Cheers, Mike. Glad you're enjoying the stream, mate.
Off goes the Jet 2 A321 Neo. It's literally snowing in Birchwood at the moment. What?
Mate, it's weird.
What is going on?
Do you remember the other day when we were saying that me and you just can't keep up with the weather? Like, it was like 16, 17 degrees the other day and we were absolutely boiling in the box.
Yeah.
And now it's back down again and we got snow and then rain, then wind. We've had all the seasons this month.
You up in the northeast, are you, Mark, at the moment, or are you down it?
I am. No, I'm up here, mate. It's it's all right. It's a bit blowy, not as bad as where you are. And the clouds are moving. It's blue sky and sun, and then it clouds over again, and it's quite nice. But you got to understand that you are in wrong coat season at this time of year. It doesn't matter what coat you put on; it's the wrong one.
The wrong coat, yes.
Yeah, when I was speaking to my mum about coming to visit this week, I was like, it's going to be really nice. Like, we can get out in the new garden and we can go out here and we can go for a stomp there and this, that, the other. And then I had a look at the weather. I was like, nope. Better find some films to watch and some indoor places to go.
So I got like bird of prey. Then I thought it was exactly where the planes are on approach. When it was lined up there, I thought that was an aircraft coming in.
Wow, look at how low the viz is.
I know.
This is not far away at all and still can't see it.
Slowly emerging from this soup. It's a plane, I think. Some kind of plane.
Plane. Plane get wet.
Oh, it's an EasyJet coming in from Verona, A320neo.
Oof, that was definitely a firm landing, that one.
That was like sink at the end.
Yeah, that would have been a bump. You definitely would have felt that in the cabin.
Gosh.
But down safely.
Proper awkward.
Yeah, exactly, Jen says today in North Manchester it's rained, snowed, hailstoned, and now the sun's out.
Oh, hey, what is this? What is this?
Mate, look at the apron, Andy. Look how weird that looks. Is the rain just absolutely slamming on the apron up there? Or is that just...
I don't know.
Why does it look so weird?
What, like over there, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, look at it. So it's absolutely leathering it down there, and it's not here.
Whoa, that looks mental.
Chat. Oh, now it's getting here.
We're getting it.
It's coming.
It's coming. Look at the state of that. That's like
that's so weird.
Biblical rain right there. Oh, this hail over here we're getting.
Mate, you might have to come inside in a minute.
I'll be okay with it's the angle is fine for us. We're chilling.
That's why you've got the door in that angle. It's kind of acting like as a bit of armor plating.
I got my hood up. I'm chilling. My right arm's soaked though. Wow, this is like borderline snow.
What a weird day. Oh, we're missing the next arrival. Flipping it. You can't even see that.
Yeah. Glenn. Oh my gosh,
that's
look
the
at
Norwegian,
this,
7-3. Get Snow Show in the title.
We love a snow show. Oh my mate, what is this?
Chill out. Welcome to Manchester, folks.
This is nuts. I need to get a video of this on my phone.
Look at this mad lad. Not even bothered.
I know. Get on me Instagram. You know what I mean? I'm cool.
Wow. What's next? Let's have a look. ITA.
Look at the state of it on
land.
The What is this? Mate,
this is a mixture of snow and hail. This is the weirdest weather. Look to the right, like towards the Concorde angle. Look at it. My God. Mate, you actually can't see the end of the runway now.
Wow.
Look at this, chat. You actually can't even see anymore down there.
This is like a blizzard, this.
If you're enjoying today's show and you want to support the Airliners live content, hit that dollar symbol, then click membership gifting, or you can support the channel with a super chat as well. Helps keep these shows online and helps us buy new cameras when they get absolutely destroyed by the weather.
Is this the end? Is this the end of the world?
I think so, mate. This is this is absolutely crazy.
Is this terrifying? Oh gosh, it's getting really dark as well. Wow, I need to get glasses on. It's going to my eyes. Oh!
Mate, just come inside for a minute.
Hang on. We're having issues.
It's not where I am.
She's got a swap.
Wow, this whole tower is just rocking, mate. If the tower's rocking, don't come knocking. Hold on, chat. Stand by.
We're having mild issues.
Technical difficulties.
The wind has picked right up as well. Like it's strong as it's been. I'm chilling up here. It's the equipment. That's the focus.
We've got an ITA coming in followed by Ryanair. I'm not sure I can
Is there a plane somewhere?
Yes, the ITA is short, fat. Mate, the ITA is down, I think.
That Pegasus that's holding short, you can hardly see that thing.
Hey, the ITA is landed.
Hey, mate, what a view you'd have in the flight deck there. Look at the... sorry, I know we're getting distracted here, but look at that.
That is so weird.
This is scary, man.
Chat, this is donkey weather. This. What's this?
It's like a Reed Timmer stream right now. This.
I'll just run out the front and just start screaming me head off.
Come on, get the equipment! Get the drone! Get the drone! It's like shooting fireworks at it. We have to go! We have to go! Underneath some ski goggles, I know. I've got some.
We've actually got some down here. We're all prepared, Chad.
Yeah.
Luckily, the wind's coming from the north. If this wind was coming from the south, we would have ended stream already.
Oh yeah, it would have. Yeah,
it would have been impossible to stream in this condition if the wind was in the other direction, because it would have been blowing right into the camera.
ITA has requested for ATC to hold their beer.
What's next here? Ryanair next to land from Alicante.
Got some Viz now, at least.
Neil gifting a membership to the community. Thank you very much, mate. Really do appreciate the support, especially on these shows, chat, as equipment does usually get into trouble on these shows. So thank you very much for that. Lily, thank you very much for supporting the channel with a donation as well. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you for that. Saying a great show. Thanks, Lily. And Simone becoming a premium economy member. Thank you very, very much for that, Simone.
And that Ryanair from Alicante lands, if you can get it going on stand and just zoom in and watch all the people in their shorts and t-shirts walking off the plane,
just dancing off like. Ooh.
Well, that's the thing, because they're using the old built-in stairs, won't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
Runway inspection.
It's sunny in Portsmouth, says Dan.
That's good.
No one asked, Dan. Don't want to know, mate. It's sunny in the ATC tower, actually. They're having a whale of a time up there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, look over there.
Look at this. They're buzzing. They're not bothered. They're looking at the RVP going, mate, what is going on down there?
That is mad. We need to clip that. That was crazy. Oh, I see a plane. Okay.
This is going to be interesting. I mean, to be honest, a lot of the big gusts for the second have sort of died out, but
yeah,
it's just the Viz now. Joan gifting 5 memberships. Thank you very, very much, Joan. Cheers for supporting the channel.
That was mad. Well, not much the ATC tower shakes in conditions like this as well. Bet they can feel it up there.
Tell you what, mate, what a landing.
Yes.
That was an incredible landing. Chat, I love seeing that more than a go around me. Fair play.
Wow. Very cool.
This is mental. What's the forecast? Are we getting more gusts or less as we progress?
I think it's staying the same, maybe a bit more, but you can never tell with the forecasts. What about the TAF? What's that saying, Mark? Have you had a look at that lately?
Yeah, it is all day long. 290/20 gusting 32.
Okay.
And then becoming 300 at 12 by 9 o'clock tonight. But there's tempo. 7,000 metres visibility, moderate showers of rain, a 30% chance, 4,000 metres, heavy showers of rain and showers of hail.
There you go.
Do you want me to see where Mum is and see if we can carry on? Or
Yeah.
Let me just make a quick call, chat. My mum is travelling up from London to stay with me for a few days, so we were going to finish on time today, but I would quite like to extend the show if we can. So let me make a quick phone call, chat. Won't be too long.
E. Willis is saying, do the planes have heated windscreens? Yes, they do, because the windscreens are about 9 layers, and they have heating elements in between them. They will heat up, and also it makes them a little bit flexible. So if you're flying along and a bird hits the windscreen, chances are it'll probably bounce off because the windscreen's got a little bit of give in it.
Yep.
And if it's like rigid, it'll break one of the layers more than likely. So yeah, they are heated. On the Airbus, it comes on automatically when you start the engines. There is a probe heat button up in the overhead panel. So if you've got like really bad snow and ice and everything, when you start firing the aircraft up, you'd press that and it would, probes that need heating would warm up, as well as the windscreens. And the ones around the sliding door windows are heated as well. The ones behind, I don't think they are. You don't need them.
Gosh.
Mark's saying aircraft have horns like cars. Yeah, the Airbus in the overhead panel to the top, to the bottom left, there's a button called mech, and if you press it, it fires a horn in the front wheel well to call the ground crew or mechanics or whatever. I've used it multiple times, and no one's even batted an eyelid. No one has ever paid any attention to it. So yeah, but you can hear it in the flight. You hear this like noise, and like pressing it like that, trying to get the ground crew's attention. Ground power's dropped out, put it back in, sort of thing. And no, they're just wandering around. No one's ever paid any attention to it whatsoever, which is joy.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I'm on call. Does being on call still count towards? Yeah, it depends on how long you're on call for. If you're on call, I think it's something like the first 4 hours doesn't count for anything, and then after that, half of the time on call is taken off your max flight duty period. But honestly, it's so complicated, and you just have to sit there and have get your calculator out and do some sums if you get called later on.
Yes.
But the bottom line is you're not allowed to do more than 18 hours a week.
That's a long time.
Stephen's saying, is that an example of Captain Mark's wing down technique on that Ryanair? Not exactly, no. The wing down technique you would do for miles out. And you really only do it on light aircraft because the clearance on an underslung engine is so low. And what you saw there is the standard technique where, you would straighten the runway, you straighten the aircraft in line with the runway centre line using the rudder, and then you would apply aileron into wind to bring that wing down a little bit to stop it from being lifted up by the crosswind. I'm desperately here trying to use the right terminology, not say that, you give the rudder a good boot, and that's not...
I think everyone knows it's a bit of a chilled stream, mate. Don't worry about that too much.
Mike was saying, when does one last question, when does an airline decide to scrap a jet? It depends if they own it or not, because a lot of the airlines lease the jets. I remember years ago when EasyJet had the 737s, they scrapped a couple of 7-year-old 737-700s because at the time they were worth more in parts than they were of selling them on. And you've got to look at the desirability of the aircraft. So, like the 380, Emirates want to buy second-hand 380s. A while ago, Jet2 bought a Titan 757. They put it on the UK register, but it was just used as spares. And they just stripped it and cannibalised it, because if you can't get the spares, then the jet's worth more in parts.
It's like the 2E Dreamliner that got scrapped the other month, wasn't it? It was only 8 years old, I think it was, Dreamliner.
Yeah.
And that got scrapped as well, probably for the same reason, really.
Having a quick chat, mums. I can probably run chat for another 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to need to wrap, I'm afraid.
That's fine. I think the winds are... They're definitely not as strong now. Look at the winds. This just looks like more like typical Manchester weather, so...
Yeah.
We'll see. When that sort of hail flurry came through then, that was the peak, though. For sure.
Yeah, it was mental.
That was seriously strong winds right then.
Going back to earlier on, Mark, we mentioned the TriStar. Innie builds releasing a TriStar in the sim within the next week or so, I think. Another really high detailed model, and I couldn't believe inside that thing. It looks like a boat, how big it is. The amount of space on that is huge.
We had one of the guys we had at our flying school. He was a ex-senior flight engineer off Concorde, and he was a flight engineer on 747s and TriStars. And he was a fascinating guy. You could just sit there and rabbit to him for hours. But he was telling us with the TriStar, he's really big inside, but it had this really weird system where your pitch on. I'm trying to remember how he said it. When you come down the ILS, obviously if you get a little bit high, you lower the nose, and if you get a little bit low, you pitch the nose up. With the TriStar, I think what it did, it flew a constant pitch of like 2.5 degrees all the way down. And if you got a bit high, it would put the speed brakes out to lower you down. And if it got a bit low, then it would put some power on to bring you up. But the pitch would never change. It was really...
there was this lever it showed on the trailer, like a variable lift control that it has in it.
Something to do with it.
Oh, that's wild, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. I'll have to remind me later, Mark. I'll send you the trailer so you can have a look at it. But it's got like a variable lift lever on it.
Did you see Practical Geeks 7.5 trailer?
I did, probably a little bit earlier than I should have done as well.
He messaged me a while ago asking. I sent him all my 757 notes. I was
nice.
Have a read of them. I'll keep you busy. But yeah, that looks amazing. That does.
Yeah, really.
I think you should
excited
at
for
the
that.
other end of the office,
mate. I'd be down. I'd be down. Lufthansa next to land, arriving in from Frankfurt, followed in by a KLM from Amsterdam, which is another A321neo.
Got the gear up quite early here as well. I suppose it's only at 1,500 feet, so, but yeah.
He's asking the fuel residue rainbow you see on windscreens. Can we see it from the flight deck? No, we can't see it at all. I don't. I've never seen that on the flight deck. Sometimes you can see sort of like a bit of a rainbow sometimes when the sun catches the heating elements in the windscreen, but not like anything on the windows. I mean, it's not unknown that sometimes you have to open the flight deck windows on the turnaround, get some hand towels out the toilet and a bottle of water and chuck it and clean the bugs off the windscreen, but that's about it really.
Next arrival coming in, Lufthansa Airbus A319, as Mark said, a bit more of an ideal plane for these kind of conditions.
Yeah, you can kind of see from this approach just how much the wind has died down, at least for now.
Yeah.
It'll still be quite strong up there as well. It's... I remember coming in once on the ILS, 3,500 feet. I can't remember what we had. I think it was like 70 or 80 knots across. Oh. It was ridiculous. It was just so strong. You just it's just going sideways. But I remember going into Newcastle years ago. We'd spent the whole winter flying sideways. It was just crosswinds every single day. And I was going with an old mate of mine, unfortunately no longer with us. We're just flying down the ILS, coming at land. I'm just kind of on board with flying sideways. Board. Rumbling all the way down. How bored I was.
That Lufthansa, I think, timing their arrival perfectly. It's quite a pleasant approach for them guys. No stress whatsoever. As Jeannie becomes a Twitch Prime member on Twitch for 2 months. Thank you very much.
Lufthansa's like, what's everyone complaining about? What's with all these go-arounds? That was easy.
Yeah, on a bad day like this, I'd be listening on box 2 and have Manchester Tower or approach on the box 2, and I'd have it listening in. As you're getting near the airport, you can get an idea of what's going on. Like we did with Storm Agnes that time. Yep. Over London, we were listening in, and we started hearing this, these Euro wings going around, and we're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And then he goes around and I goes off back to Dusseldorf and says, I've had enough of this, boys, I'm off.
Gosh.
But yeah, you can have a listen ahead and and get an idea of what's going on.
Lufthansa A319 just landed here at Manchester Airport after almost 1.5 hour flight over from Frankfurt. A short flight, that actually, considering the distance.
It's quite funny when I said to her, how's the journey been? She says, well, it was lovely until I got to Birmingham, and then it was as if the world was about to end. I said, yeah, it pretty much describes the stream, to be honest.
Yeah, literally. That was mental. That was probably the craziest weather we've ever had at Manchester.
I think that's right up there, isn't it?
Yeah. It's for just wackiness. Got a couple of arrivals then teed up for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, we'll probably wrap on the EasyJet that's arriving in from Geneva, folks.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, there's another break after
it's
that.
Not like this for Matt.
Sorry?
Let's hope it's not like this. Let's hope it's not like this for Matt on Friday.
Oh, It usually is on his Friday shows, isn't it?
I know, he gets it.
I mean, Friday so far is wet, but it doesn't look too bad. It's just more of a miserable day, I think. As is Sunday. I think Sunday's maybe a bit drier, but relatively the same.
Yeah, Tina's got it right. Get the 380, come and clear the soak runway.
Yes.
It's a bit moist.
We are missing that midday's 380 still, aren't we? We got the morning one and the evening one, but still none during the day, which is a bit odd, but I know it's still a bit hit and miss down there in Dubai. That part of the world.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, we're what's called landside e-wills, so we're not within the restricted area of the airport. This is a publicly accessible place called the Runway Visitor Park, where you can come down, you can make a trip for yourself, come and have a look around. They've got plenty of views. On a nice day, a lot of people having picnics here, and in that hangar there, they have an absolute icon of aviation. The flagship Alpha Charlie Concorde with British Airways, which is amazing. You can go and do a tour of that. Static aircraft, they've got a shop on site, bathrooms, cafe, and a Nimrod, DC-10. They've got all sorts of stuff going on.
They've got an event in June. They advertised it on their social medias, Runway Visitor Park, where you can book a slot and you get tours of 4 aircraft here. I think, the likes of DC-10, Nimrod, the Trident and the Concorde, all in one package. And also it comes with some food as well. So, sounds like a mega day out, that.
It does. I think, like you say, lasts about 3.5 hours, the tour of all of them.
Yeah.
So check out the website if you want to get booked on for that, because it's not something I've seen them do before at the RVP. It's quite a good idea.
Yeah.
For anybody who really wants to sort of do all the tours in the same day.
They're all really good in their own way. Especially the Concorde, though. It's so beautifully kept as well. You know, the guys, the Heritage Concorde, look after it, and they do a mega job.
You've got the flight sim as well, haven't they, in there, the 360 flight sim, where you go and do aerobatics in a simulator. It's great fun.
Yes. I've not done that for a while, actually. That might maybe at the task fair we'll have to have another go.
Yeah. It's usually the first thing they go to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, middle daughter always gets an audience because the amount of screaming she does, letting them sit there like, now they're flying at themselves. But the middle one, actually, she can multitask. She hangs onto the harness with one hand, she flies it with the other, turns it upside down and sits and screams her head off at the same time. It's proper multitasking.
You can just see the next approach, I think.
Woody's asking where am I flying to next. I don't know, mate. I'm on call all this week. My next actual rostered flight is a Dalaman beginning of next month, but I'm on call, so I could get called to go anywhere. Who knows, mate? Who knows?
Next arrival, KLM arriving in from Amsterdam. Just above the cloud. Leia just on the approach.
Yeah, just about to see it. It's a bit camouflaged up there in the blue sky. That's so hard to see with your eyes. Try and make me sick on it again.
Yeah.
It was a Fezzer or I think it was Fezzer and Matt like, oh, we're going to go on and we're going to do loads of loop-to-loops. Didn't even go upside down once. Like, mate, come on, guys.
I went on with Tom, and he was throwing it all over the shop. I was like, go on, boy. Give it stuff.
Brendan's saying Princess Diana, Paul McCartney, and Bowie were all famous passengers on Alpha Charlie.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah, don't look at me. That was one of the things that I was really surprised about was the actual cabin size on board Concorde.
Yeah.
It's, I guess, a lot more cramped than you might imagine.
There's something they announced the other week with that Boom Supersonic, is that the cabin's actually going to be quite a bit bigger than Concorde. Bit taller as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be a smaller length and also a bit more focused on luxury. I know the Concorde was luxurious, but it wasn't what you'd consider modern day business class style, when you got like Club World and stuff and lie flat beds and all that. But then again, do you need a bed on a Concorde? You don't want to be falling asleep on that thing.
Not the amount of money you spend to go on it.
I know. And it's not like it's a long flight, is it?
When you think about it, you look at the Airbuses, the 320s. 10 minutes of taxi burns about 100 kilos of fuel. In flight, you're burning about 2 tons an hour in flight. So with Concorde, the problem is that it was an extreme. Concorde burnt a lot of fuel. So each engine burnt 1.1 tons an hour on taxi. Wow. So every 15 minutes, it would burn a ton of fuel.
Gosh.
When you're taking off, at the beginning of the takeoff roll, each engine, there's 4 of them, will be burning 21 tons per hour, made up of 12 tons dry fuel and 9 tons afterburner. By the time you get to V2, once you've taken off and you've just got airborne, you've got the V2 around 220 knots, you're now burning 25 tons per hour per engine. So 100 tons an hour that plane's burning on takeoff.
Gosh.
And then the afterburn, it only gave them 17% improvement in thrust, but burnt 80% more fuel. So they only used it rarely. They used it for takeoff and then up towards transonic. It was cancelled. They'd start at 0.96 the speed of sound, and at 1.7 the speed of sound, they'd cancel the afterburner. And then when you get up to the cruise, it would burn each engine would burn around 5 tons an hour. At 50,000 feet, and then it go down to 4.2 tons an hour at 60,000 feet. So you're looking at about 20 tons an hour in the cruise.
So I guess the big question for me is, how many tons of fuel does that thing need to get from like London to New York? That must be a lot, mustn't it?
3 hours, it's burning 20 tons an hour. So there's 60 tons straight off just for the that bit. And then you'd need whatever extra you need. You'd need more for the climb, but you'd need less for the descent because it'd be. There you are. It's actually 5 engines, including APU. Concorde didn't have an APU. To save weight, they never fitted one. So what they would use is ground power and ground air start units.
There was we were speaking with an engineer who's sadly passed away now. We were doing quite a lot of filming with him, actually, and there was one story which he said we probably shouldn't put this one on camera. And he was talking about that Concorde's engines were particularly drippy, he said. And they'd be called out sometimes, and he'd see how many drips per minute there was. And if it was below a certain number, like, yeah, she's probably good to go. Because they're always, like, expanding and contracting and everything like that, so they just leak. They just leak fuel, and as long as they weren't leaking too much, they'd just send them.
There's a thing on the Airbus that if you've got a fuel leak coming out the bottom of the engine, you're allowed a certain thing. I mean, I'd have to look it up how many drips per minute, but you go in the minimum equipment list and you'd have a quick look and you'd say, okay, there's a drip out the engine, and you'd have to time it, and you're allowed a certain amount of drips per minute, and if it's over, then you have to come back. I remember the DHL lads at Manchester, fantastic, and they spotted this leak, and I said, all right, how many, can you count, how often does it drip? And he said, mate, it's pouring out. I said, right, back on stand, and the engineers come out, and we ended up taking a different jet. But I remember I taught a couple of BA engineers to fly, and one of them they both worked on Concorde. One was on it a lot because he was little, he could fit in it. And he was saying for every hour it spent in the air, it spent 4 hours in a hangar being worked on.
Yeah.
It was an awful lot of maintenance and fuel costs.
And you can see how quickly it became uneconomical, and obviously with the financial crash as well, it's just a perfect storm for that airframe, unfortunately.
Yeah, he will just saying any planes that have fuel in other places other than the wings. Yeah, I mean, the 320 Airbus is the 7573. You've got your wing tanks and you've got a centre fuel tank as well. Other aircraft, the Airbus 320s and 319s have an extra little tank out on the tips of the wings that then when the fuel in the centre tanks gets down to 750, they open and it drains the fuel in. It's to help stop wing flutter. It's the 321 Neo doesn't have it. 747s and the 380s and 340s, they've got multiple fuel tanks all over. And, this is a thing when you want an aircraft to fly, halfway around the world or whatever, you need to stick fuel in any hole you can put it. And Concorde had multiple fuel tanks all over the place. And I remember the engineer guys telling me that they used to use it to keep the aircraft in trim, so they were pumping fuel around the plane.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big jets, they've got multiple tanks to get it all. Some even have them actually in the tail, I think. You get these tail tanks as well.
You got the LR, the A321 LRs that have got extra tanks as well, haven't you?
Yeah. I was funny enough, I was flying with an FO in Birmingham. His mate he was at Wizz Air and he flew the XLR and he said it was harder to land than the other ones. And I was like, I wonder why that would be. But, apparently they've made it captains only for the XLRs.
Right, interesting.
So, at Wizz anyway.
Wow, the difference in conditions is nuts.
Just unbelievable.
This feels like a regular day, but with a bit of sun. There was someone in the chat, wasn't who said that, oh, sunny in Bolton now. I was like, no way. Looks like we've ridden out the worst of the winds then.
Yeah, I think we've seen it through, haven't we?
Yep. EasyJet A320 Neo just landed here on 23 right. Got a Eurowings coming in from Stuttgart. Airbus A319 next to land.
Yeah, looking at timings, chat, we may need to make this Eurowings the last arrival for us today. But as you can see, I think we've seen the worst of the weather for this morning. I do want to give a massive thanks to Mark as well for dropping us a message this morning, saying he's on call and like to join the show.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, right, thanks for having us.
Thanks for the insight, as always. And, of course, well done to Brownie up on the roof, braving it out in the, you had everything today, haven't you? You'll be in your T-shirt in a minute.
I know, yeah.
If we go for another 10 minutes.
I'm drying off now. Yeah, it was good fun, that. Wasn't as bad as it looked up here, but it was good fun to film and watch.
Yeah, and cheers to everyone in the chat, everyone who's thrown support into the stream as well. Really do appreciate it, folks.
Yeah, the winds has gone right down now.
Snowing in Bolton now. Mate, this can't keep up, can you?
What's going on?
And thanks to everyone who's donated to the channel today, sent in gifted memberships as well. Really, really appreciate those. Thank you, everybody. And we will be back live with you with Mr. Matt Cam-Smith on Friday. I'll be very surprised if he's at Barton on Sunday, chat. I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. So probably a pub show on Sunday with Matty Boy Smith. And look at this now. If you're just tuning in now, you've got no idea what it was doing half an hour ago.
Yeah. You really missed it. Overflight.
Wow, look at that.
That's a weird looking plane.
Death Star coming into view.
So hard to see that on the screen. Here we go. Last arrival of today's show. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. And welcome to all those who are brand new VIP members of the show as well.
And if you're a new viewer today, we stream every Wednesday morning, every Friday morning, and every Sunday morning here at Manchester Airport. So we'd love to see you tune in again on a future show. Thank you for joining us today.
The difference on this arrival compared to 20 minutes ago is insane.
Absolutely crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, this just looks like the most calm, stable approach ever.
There we go. Awesome. chat, that's going to be a wrap for today then. A massive thanks for tuning in. Well done to the mods as well. It's been another nice, busy show for us here at Manchester. Thank you again, mods, for your support. And from myself and Andy, thank you very much for tuning in today. We'll get another wave from Mr. Captain Mark as well for tuning in. Nice one, Mark, mate. And chat. We'll see you all on Friday. Thank you very much for watching. You've been watching Airlines Live. We'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Ta-ra for now.